What's going on, y'all? Hope you're having a good day, and I hope you're having a good week as always. I know people are going to say that's crooked, but I'm doing a double live stream. I got Facebook on my phone, YouTube in the back. The thing's not crooked. This is crooked. I can move this side to side. So we're going to talk today about the, excuse me, national. Give me a thumbs up if the sound sounds good. I got the microphone. Talk about a Saudi national who just killed people at a United States naval base. So let's go live on Facebook too, and we'll double up on it. How we sounding on YouTube? We good? What's going on Facebook? I'm here on YouTube. We're doing the double stream again today. I want to talk about a breaking story about the Pensacola shooter at a United States naval air station. So somebody killed a few people and injured quite a few. I believe the death counts up to 3, maybe more, maybe less. I don't know. You could correct me on that. And the guy who did it is a national from Saudi Arabia who was training at our naval base for God knows what reason. And the reason I say that is because I'm sure, of course, this is low connection. Great. It's not working on my phone. But of course, they're going to try to say all these sort of stories about, being hateful or something. But when it comes to the 9/11 shooting, 15 of 19 of the hijackers came from Saudi Arabia. So it's a little bit suspicious, the fact that, 15 of 19 hijackers of 9/11 come from Saudi Arabia. We give them hundreds of billions of dollars in weapons. And then I guess after 9/11, the worst massacre on our soil, in my generation. Apparently, that's what we do as a country. We just start training people from their country to fly planes in our own country. It's really disgusting, and it has nothing to do with racism, sexism, xenophobia, whatever they want to call it. It's just national security. If 15 of 19 American citizens, flew planes into towers in Saudi Arabia or any other country, I doubt they would be training our people in their country to be flying planes. I mean, this is disgusting. And how many people overseas, and now we're getting attacked on our own soil. You know me, I'm cool, I'm calm, I'm collected. I try to be, but this is really not good. And to see the United States naval base being attacked by a foreign national on our own soil, this is nuts. We got to talk about it, and we got to talk about the Saudi Arabian connections and others of how screwed up this stuff is. And this is the kind of stuff. We have a Republican president. Of course, we have the Democrats trying to obstruct him. But what are we doing here, folks? Our country is sold out. Our media is sold out. Our banks are sold out. Our politicians are sold out. People who push forward the military-industrial complex in places like Syria and Libya are sold out. They say that they're helping Christians and Americans, and we're fighting for our security. But the truth is, in Syria, we depopulated the Christians there by 1 million. It was the most Christian place in the Middle East. Before we went there, we started funding stuff. And the craziest part of all that I really want people to listen and understand, because you don't get this from a lot of left-wing sources, and you certainly don't get this from a lot of right-wing sources, is the fact that this Wahhabist radical Islamic terrorism, you have the left wing that doesn't really want to talk about it at all. And then you have the right wing who says we're fighting radical Islamic terrorism, but they're actually funding radical Islamic terrorism. So if you really want to beat radical Islam, you have to understand that your government, from Reagan to Clinton to Bush to Obama to possibly even Trump, have been putting your taxpayer dollars towards funding, aiding. Every time these people use weapons, they're using United States weapons. How do you think they're getting them? We need to talk about it, because this is a really big deal. So and now we're losing United States people at our own military base on our own soil, guys. And you wonder why I talk about free speech and this stuff? No, anomaly, it's fine. We all have to just get along, as Republicans and conservatives. First of all, I've never even said I'm a Republican. I like Trump. I don't like Mitt Romney. I like Trump. That's why I made the song. Second of all, we have a Republican president, and we're getting attacked on our own air bases. Enough is enough, folks. Let's do some shout outs real quick, and we're going to get into it. Let's see. We got Drew Tazy. We got Melanie. God bless you. Someone said we have trained foreign people at military bases before. I'm sure we have, but here, we'll just get right into it, because this is going to be a wake up call. I'm not saying not to work with foreign countries. I need to preface this with the truth. I have a lot of friends from Saudi Arabia. I went to college with a bunch of people who went to Saudi Arabia. I've met with them in the United States. I have no problem with Saudis. You know, Saudi Arabians are great people. It's not their fault. Their government is not, they're not responsible for all of it. But what I'm saying is, if you look at the 9/11, and this is no conspiracy. I know people always say, it's so weird. I use Forbes, I use New York Times, I use New York Post, I use Washington Post, I use, and they say, Anomaly, you're like a crazy, like far conspiracy. I'm like, I'm reading, here's from Vanity Fair. This is Vanity Fair. All right. 15 of the 19 hijackers from 9/11 came from Saudi Arabia. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This isn't every mainstream right-wing and left-wing source. Most of the 9/11 hijackers, not according to me, not according to Alex Jones or whoever you want to blame it on, not according to anyone, it's in the news. Most of the hijackers came from Saudi Arabia. I'm not blaming everyone from Saudi Arabia, but if 15 of the 19 hijackers came from Saudi Arabia, what did we do? Well, we sold them weapons, and we're training their people to fly planes on our own soil. It doesn't make sense. I'm not saying to not work with foreign nations, but I don't know. If you get your towers blown up by planes and you do investigative research and you come to the conclusion that 15 of the 19 hijackers came from your ally Saudi Arabia, then why are you selling them so much weapons and training them to fly planes? I have no problem with Saudis. I have more Saudi friends than I have, other ethnic friends. It's all love, but that was the greatest attack on our soil in this generation. Thousands of people died. We blamed Al Qaeda. We went to the Middle East, but people don't even know that the creation of these type of groups. I could play a clip right now. I'll just paraphrase it for you, and then you could listen for yourself. Hillary Clinton explained how Wahhabist radical ideology got its front in the Middle East. It wasn't Iran. I mean, you could look into the coup of Iran. We overthrew Iran in, what was it, the 70s or the 80s or maybe the 60s. I don't have my time, but the point is, we wanted to do a proxy war against Russia in that time, and we funded and created the Mujahideen, and we funded these radical Islamic terrorists, also known as Wahhabist ideology. You could call it what you want. We did that, the United States of America. So we gave them all this money to fight Russia. We left them in Pakistan and other places, and then 10 years later, you got Republicans thinking they're fighting radical Islamic terrorism. It's like, guys, you built that. And then 9/11 happens. They blow up the towers. Horrible. Well, I lived, near New York at the time. One of the worst things I could remember from my childhood. And then we go to Iraq, and then we go to Syria, and then we displace Christians in Syria, and then we go to Libya, and they say, no, Anomaly, don't break up the party. Come on, we got to listen to Dan Crenshaw and Ben Shapiro. Come on, you're just jealous. I'm not jealous. Their foreign policy makes no sense. And all I'm asking is, now that there's 3 United States people dead, we're getting attacked on our own, in our own country. We're supposed to be the greatest country in the world with the biggest military. Why are we being attacked on our own bases in our own country? And the answer is, your media is sold out. You guys know that. Your politicians are sold out. It's not just the right wing, the left wing that's sold out. The right wing is sold out too. There's a reason that when an anti-free speech bill passes for a foreign country in Florida, and I mention something about it, everyone yells at me, oh, Anomaly, what are you trying to do? It's the First Amendment, folks. Do you guys not know how important free speech is? There's a reason that it's sold out for a foreign country. It's not for you. It's not for American citizens of a certain religious group. It's because we're not in control. What do you call a country that gets 15 of 19 hijackers from a country, and your response to that is giving them $250 billion in weapons and training their citizens to fly more planes on your own air base? I mean, you get what I'm saying? It's really, I have friends from Saudi Arabia. I want them to come and go to school and do stuff. But if 15 of 19 of the 9/11 hijackers, like the media said, this is not my opinion. This is in all mainstream media. Most of the hijackers came from Saudi Arabia. They flew planes into the towers, according to the news. So we give them weapons and just let them keep training to fly planes. And then that kid kills people, and they're like, oh my goodness, why were they even there in the first place? They can't train on their own soil? I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, if Iran shouts death to America, like everybody on the Republican side says, I don't know, maybe don't just like train Iranian military agents or nationals for 5 years and try to figure out what's going on and be like, hey, let's get a better relationship so we all love it. I doubt Iran would let Americans, military agents fly, train in Iran, and they shouldn't do that. If I was Iran, I would be like, yo, I would not let American citizens train at your military bases. That's a major red flag. So someone said Islam isn't a country. I never said it was. I have much love and respect for Islam. I'm not here hating on Islam. I'm talking about Wahhabist ideology, which is radical Islam that Republicans claim they're fighting so much. They fund it. They fund this stuff in the Middle East. They destroy Christian areas of the Middle East. They act like they're helping us. And then the next thing you know, it never ends. The reason that Syria was filled with ISIS and Al-Qaeda before Trump got there is because during the Obama-Clinton administration, as well as probably back to, the Reagan through, it's Democrat and Republicans, we use these people, these radical Islamic terrorists, these Wahhabist ideology. It's not a country, it's an ideology, and there's different sects of Islam as well. But the most radical one, we use them. We use them like a proxy warrior. Hey, what if we gave these guys Stinger weapons and they just went and fought Russia? And they did. There's a whole video of Hillary admitting and explaining that. She's like, we use them to fight Russia, but then we left them in the Middle East. And what happens when you leave that radical ideology in the Middle East? It spreads, it grows, it causes chaos. So when President Trump got in, one thing that no one gives him credit for, from the far right to the left wing to the far left, whatever, they don't give Trump credit. He cut a $2 billion program where we were funding rebels, moderate rebels. Trump cuts the funding for that. All of a sudden, Syria and Russia and Iran, whoever's involved, they take Syria back from Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Say what you want about Russia. I'm not a huge Russia fanatic. We need to keep them at bay. But Russia was fighting ISIS. The Syrian government was fighting ISIS. We were funding rebels to create a proxy war so ISIS took front. There's a reason the news doesn't mention anything when ISIS gets defeated. When ISIS has power, CNN, ISIS, Fox News, ISIS, CBS, ISIS. When they have power, everyone's crying about it. As soon as they get defeated, only Fox celebrated it. CNN was like, whoa, they immediately turned into a PR team. They said, there's women in ISIS who want to come back to the United States. Did you notice that Trump said that most of them were from Europe? Did you guys hear that? Trump said, hey, these guys got to go back to Europe where they came from. Why is ISIS, the radical Islamic ideology, why are so many of them from Europe? Why were the hijackers from Saudi Arabia? What part are we missing? I hear about how bad Iran is in the news, and don't get me wrong, I think Iran hates us, and I think Russia's a threat as well. I'm not justifying for them, but it's like, for all this stuff you hear about Iran, the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia, the ISIS members were from Europe. There's something going on, folks, and I'm trying to tell you what it is. We use Wahhabist ideology, and our country and our politicians don't have that much power. Why else do you think we're getting attacked on our own soil right now? The reason in Florida schools, they want to make it, the Ron DeSantis passed a bill in Israel to regulate how much you can criticize Israel. Now, if you want to criticize them more than other countries, they can regulate that. It's an anti-First Amendment. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because Ron DeSantis loves Jewish people so much? You could think that, but I think it's because Israel has power, so they got our government to pass a speech bill for them. I love Jewish people. I love secular, Orthodox, ethnic. It's all love to me, but I don't think that bill was passed for them, just like I don't think they cared when Laura Loomer and Milo Yiannopoulos got the platform. They're Jewish, but no one cares about their free speech. I think the bill was passed because Israel has a lot of influence over the United States, and so does Saudi Arabia. When it comes to the world, America, Israel, and Saudi Arabia work together, but in my perspective, which maybe this will be illegal to say, I don't think the United States has the most power out of that group. I think Saudi Arabia and Israel have more power over the United States, and it's debatable. Some will say Saudi is controlling Israel. Some will say Israel is controlling Saudi. Maybe they're controlling each other, but I'll tell you what, in Israel, they're not going to do what we did. In Saudi Arabia, they're not going to do what we did. Only America gets the raw end of the deal, and it's because our politicians don't really care for us. So, in Israel, they want to protect Israel, and they should. They're Israeli. That's their country. In Saudi Arabia, they love Saudi Arabia. They want to protect it. In America, only in America do our own politicians on the left and the right not care about our own country. And that's why people are wondering, the left wing is wondering, why is the Trump right wing growing? Why wouldn't it grow? I mean, look at everything you're doing from the media. Look at everything you're doing from like social cancel culture, like, I'm offended. I mean, you guys are miserable. I mean, it's embarrassing. Even Obama's embarrassed. I mean, this Democratic nominee little circus is embarrassing. It's very pathetic for our country. And then you go to the right wing, you got the Trump right, and they're like, why is the far right growing? Why is the, well, it's because people like Crenshaw and DeSantis, as cool and smart and well-spoken as they are, they sell our country out to Israel. And I'm not even anti-Israel. I'm just like, why did they sell out our free speech for an entire group of people? And like, it's a little weird. And then even someone on my Twitter said the other day, they were like, listen, I hate anti-Semitism. I'm pro-Zionist. I love Israel. But this bill is so bad, it looks like a parody. That's all I'm asking, folks. I'm not asking you to turn against people. It's all love for me. I got Israelis watching this stream right now. I have people in Israel that are pro-Zionist that look at the bill that Ron DeSantis passed and they think it's a joke. It is a joke. It's embarrassing, but it's because we're, in the Saudi Arabia, Israel, United States deal, we seem to have the politicians who care the least. And in my opinion, I don't think it's fair that people attack Israel. I don't think it's fair that people attack Saudi Arabia. I don't think it's fair that so many people are hateful towards Jews. You should be hateful towards your own politicians who sold your country out. It's not Israel's fault. It's not Saudi Arabia's fault. It's American politicians' fault on the left and the right. People that are Catholic and Christian like Crenshaw and DeSantis. People like Nancy Pelosi as well who are Catholic. It's not, they sold our country out. I don't know what you want me to say. It's like, it's not just, I look at, I'm a self-reflective type of person. I don't play the victim. So it's like, I don't know what to tell you guys, but when you talk to the left wing, nothing matters on the left anymore. They're so far gone. It's like, they don't even know what's going on. Then you talk to the right wing. I'm like, hey guys, I like free speech. And they're like, dude, what are you, like an extremist? I'm already getting blacklisted. I'm just telling you folks, as calm and reasonable and fair and honest as I am, that's why they hate me. So behind closed doors, trust me, they are trying to blacklist me, ban me, censor me, make sure I can never speak at CPAC or any of these events, because at CPAC, they're going to tell you, we're fighting radical Islam, but then the politicians that they support are probably supporting it behind closed doors for a proxy war against something else. Or if the dollar's right, if a GOP donor comes with $50 million, screw it, I'll destroy a town in Nebraska. I'll sell out the First Amendment for Israel. I mean, I love Israelis, so why not? It's like, the reason why not is not because you don't love them. It's because the First Amendment is sacrosanct in our country. I mean, it should be pretty clear why you shouldn't sell out the First Amendment. I don't want you to sell it out for Trump. If people were talking crap on Trump and I'm like, hey, we need to regulate hate speech. No, we need Susan Wojcicki to leave us alone so we can have a fair shake in the conversation. That's all I want. I think it's actually, in my opinion, I think mean jokes are funny. There was this Bernie Sanders, like aide or something. I don't know. All these right wingers are trying to cancel him because he made homophobic, racist, anti-Semitic, xenophobic jokes. And I'm looking at his jokes and they're not funny. Some of them are exaggerated. Some of them are a little bit mean, but who cares? Like, are we fired? Like, he was like, all white women look the same. All Asians look the same. He said, I have a black man's body. I get power like a white man. I get money like a Jew. And someone wrote to me the other day, they're like, I'm Jewish and I don't have money. I know that. I know that not everyone has money, but it's like a stereotype. It's not nice, but in a joke. Like, you go to the Comedy Store, a black comedian makes fun of black people. They stereotype black people. It doesn't mean every black person's guilty of it, but it's just funny. It's like the guy's joke, but like the right wing's trying to cancel this Bernie Sanders guy. I don't like Bernie Sanders, but like, who cares? Twitter in 2010, no one cared. Like, you watch Sarah Silverman. Sarah Silverman makes a bunch of Jewish jokes. She made a joke about Jesus. Christians were getting mad. It's a little tasteless, but she's a comedian. I mean, you had that Christian pastor freaking out. I'm not so concerned with her Jesus joke as I am the fact that other people are censoring speech so much. So it's like this whole cancel culture thing is so annoying. It's like the right tries to be like, oh, we're not snowflakes. But as soon as the Bernie Sanders aide says something, they're like, oh my God, he's racist. He hates Asians. It's like, I doubt he hates Asians. I mean, it's just bananas. But I'm a free speecher. But for this thing, I'm going to read a little bit about the situation. This is from the New York Post. You could read it, others. Pensacola shooter identified as Saudi national in U.S. for aviation training. The man who opened fire at Pensacola Naval Base was a member of the Saudi military who was receiving aviation training the base commander has revealed. Authorities are investigating whether the deadly shooting, who multiple reports are identifying as Mohammed Said al-Shamrami, is terror-related. Guys, I love Saudis. I sound like Trump. I love the Japanese. I sell in my apartments all the time. No, but I really do. I have a lot of Saudi friends. I'm not lying. But if 15 of the 19 hijackers were from Saudi Arabia and no one did anything about it, and we sold them weapons, and we're training their military people in our, that's the thing where like, and then people were like, why is the far right wing growing? The far right is growing, and I'm not justifying their disgusting behavior. I'm not justifying their rude, tactics and stuff. I'm not justifying anything they said. I'm not them. But I see why that's growing is because the moderate right wing sells out our free speech, isn't America first. It's not because some, angry kid said, oh, Anomaly, you're agreeing with them. I've thought that for a year or two. Just because they said it doesn't mean I agree with I'm just saying the people that they point to and say they're not America first, they're not America first. And a lot of Republicans aren't America first. I mean, they don't really care. No one wants to talk. The only people I've ever heard talk about Saudi Arabia are Rand Paul, who is, in my opinion, a patriot, although I don't agree with him on it, and Tulsi Gabbard. That's why I like her. Yes, her policies domestically are too far left for me, but she calls out Saudi Arabia. She calls out Wahhabist ideology and how the United States fund. Her and Rand Paul co-sponsored some sort of situation, like a bill or whatever it was. They co-sponsored the Stop Arming Terrorists Act, and they tried to tell Americans, from Tulsi Gabbard to Rand Paul, that your taxpayer dollars are funding the ideology that Sean Hannity tells you you're fighting. You can't fight an ideology that you're giving money and weapons to fight a proxy war in Syria. By the way, this is what really annoys me about it. You have people like Crenshaw and Shapiro, who are neocons, who say we need to overthrow Syria. It's a threat to the United States. It's a threat to Israel. It's a threat to Judeo-Christian values. I'm not knocking Israel or the United States. I live in the United States. But all I'm saying is they say they're doing that, but they want to overthrow Bashar al-Assad. I'm not a big Bashar al-Assad guy, but why are they trying to overthrow him? They said he chemically attacked his own people. I don't think he did, but even if he really did, we just got 3 people murdered. Like our country's allowed to invade us now because we don't have, proper defense. If we kill, 100 people with a medicine that's disgusting, like we give people faulty medicine, people can't just invade us. But in general, what I'm saying is Bashar al-Assad, as bad as he may be, he protects Christians. He's one of the only Middle Eastern leaders that protects Christians. Before the Syrian war, there were 2 million Christians in Syria, the most Christians in the Middle East. So Dan Crenshaw and Shapiro, Crenshaw, who's I think says he's a Christian, Shapiro, who's not, but's got like 80% Christian Catholic audience, he convinces them that he's like helping Christians somehow. But in reality, they get Christians killed and displaced because millions of them. You can't fight a leader that protects Christians and fund an ideology that kills Christians and then sit there and say, oh, you're anti-Semitic if you disagree with me. You don't need the First Amendment. It's like these people are so bad. It's like Trump is much better. That's why they don't like his foreign policy. Trump knows this stuff. Trump's not perfect. Trump has allies. Trump works with Saudi Arabia. Trump works with Israel. He probably has to. They have a lot of money and power. That's why when you say they have money and power on the right wing, they say, "Oh my God, that's a racist anti." I'm like, no, Israel has a lot of power. Saudi Arabia has a lot of power. Why else do you think even Trump works with them? As far as Saudi Arabia, you think Trump doesn't know the 9/11 hijackers came from there, according to the news? But he does. I don't. Maybe we don't have any power at all. Maybe it's just like, yeah, train your people at our Air Force. Like, yeah, you killed more of our people. That's fine, I guess. Like, after the 9/11 attack, it's like, I guess like we'll just keep giving you guys weapons and money and fund it. It's like, guys, there's and that's why I'm never going to speak at CPAC. This is why I'm never going to get invited to their events. I was just on a podcast. I said all this stuff about the First Amendment, and they shelved the podcast. So looks like you're never going to hear my voice ever in the conservative ink again. They don't even want to play what I said. I'm trying to tell people they're selling out the First Amendment. So they're like, hey, let's just squash that whole Anomaly podcast. Even though he's honest, he's hilarious, he's more entertaining than everyone. Let's get rid of it because God forbid they hear Anomaly. They know all of us are full of shit. So you're never going to hear this stuff on the mainstream. Luckily, a lot of us have built audiences on our own, and it's a beautiful thing. But it's like, man, it's one thing if they're just lying. It's another thing if they're selling out the First Amendment. It's another thing if they haven't corrected a problem from 17 years ago. I'm not a 9/11 fan. It's disgusting what happened. And since it's happened, we've just desiccated Libya, Syria, killed Christians, displaced Christians, made our country less safe. Who are we doing this for? People want to know. You can call people Islamophobic or anti-Semitic if you want, but people want to know why we're getting attacked on our own air bases, and it's not going to stop because the answer is we don't have that much control. Our politicians, I mean, you can look at our country and at least identify, if you're a Republican, more than half, if not most, more than half of our politicians hate America. And I'm not saying that like I'm some sort of like, right-wing fanatic, but like they don't like our country. It's just true. Like in Brazil, they love Brazil. You go to you go to Mexico, they love Mexico. You go to Saudi Arabia, they love Saudi Arabia. You go to Iran, they love Iran. You go to Israel, they love Israel. You go to the United States, half of the country doesn't even want you to fly the flag. So it's safe to say a lot of our politicians not only don't care about our country, they hate our country. And then on the right wing, the ones who love our country are so owned by people who love other countries that they love our country just enough to tell you they love our country. But when push comes to shove, they'll sell out your First Amendment. They'll start a war. They'll call you a hater. They'll ban you from an event just to get that money. I get it. It's good money. It's good power. I understand. But you got half the country who hates our country, and then the other half, the Republicans, besides Rand Paul and maybe Trump, I would think, like our country just enough to be patriotic, but just patriotic in sound, not really in actions, very many of them. So, it's pushing past that point. And what I'm saying is going to age well. I had this conversation with my buddy Andrew Meyer, who's an Orthodox Jewish patriot who loves this country. We talked for hours in person, and also we talked in hours on live stream. I knew this was going to happen as far as the right wing. It's not a bad thing. People are like, oh my God, we're not. No, it's the people who know that the moderates are not for America calling them out. Yes, some of them are mean. Yes, some of them are rude. Yes, some of them are hateful. But this is what I really want to get to people too. And I've said it a lot recently, but I really want to explain it. There's a reason things happen. If you're left wing and you hate Donald Trump, you can't create Donald Trump. And that's what they did. We hate Trump. We hate Trump. We hate Trump. But all their actions created Trump. They got millions of Democrats to support the president because of their actions. And that's the world. You can't be horrible and point to someone else that you think is horrible and think people are you just have to get better. The Democrats didn't do that. They created Trump. They hate Trump. They've made Trump more powerful on a worldwide scale than ever possible, and they're not stopping. They're legitimately awful. Now you go to the moderate right. They're doing the same thing with the far right. They hate the far right, but they made the far right, and they created the far right, not because of all the stuff that they're doing, because the stuff that the far right's accusing them, although a lot of them are mean, a lot of them are hateful, in my opinion, a lot of them are, very, very upset and angry. And I think it's unhealthy and bad for everyone, including themselves. But they created the far right because their little moderate safe space right wing that they want to go on campuses is awful. Their immigration policy is terrible. They say demographics are racist, and you have left-wing operatives. It was just on Twitter. These left-wingers said, we're purposely shifting the demographics to turn this country into South Africa. I'm not even joking. It's on Twitter. She's like, they say demographics aren't destiny, but we're going to try to make sure demographics are destiny, and we're going to make sure this country never votes Republican again. They say it's totally fine. That's a Democrat saying it. But then a right-winger says it. You got Charlie Kirk and his little retard minions saying, oh, no, they're far-right supremacists. No, you guys aren't pro-First Amendment. You're not America first. You definitely, there's a such thing as loving Israel and supporting Israel without selling your own country out. I think it's possible. I just don't think they're doing it. So they think they're fighting the far right, but they've created the far right because they don't do anything right. All of their policies are stupid. And you bring up a left-wing talking point to them about demographics, they think it's racist. They're like, yeah, well, you're racist because I'm sitting next to a black gay guy. It's like, that's cool, but like, what does that mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? I bring a friend next to me, like, look, no, you're racist and I'm not. Just answer the damn question. So, you know, when stuff like this happens at a military base, they're all going to freak out. They're all going to say, oh my goodness, what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. The United States funded radical Wahhabi terrorism on record. I could find, should I play it? Do you guys want to hear the clip? We'll listen to our girl Hillary explain exactly how it happened. So I don't get called a conspiracy theorist when it's literally mainstream news. Let's hear from Hillary. This is probably the most honest thing I've ever heard her say. If she talked like this all the time, I'd give her a Nobel Peace Prize. This is great. Here, let's see. So where are we? I'm almost there. Bang, bang, bang. Where are we at, Hill? So this is what happened decades ago and probably still happened like last year, if not now. All right, sound's going up.
Sounds like a pretty good new deal, ASI. A relationship that just we're building and we now are making up for a lot of lost time. We're building a relationship that just did not exist. I said in our last trip when you were with me that we had a huge trust deficit, in part because the United States had, to be fair, we had helped to create the problem we're now fighting. How? Because when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, we had this brilliant idea that we were going to come to Pakistan and create a force of mujahideen, equip them with Stinger missiles and everything else to go after the Soviets inside Afghanistan. And we were successful. The Soviets left Afghanistan, and then we said, great, goodbye, leaving these trained people who were fanatical in Afghanistan and Pakistan, leaving them well armed, creating a mess, frankly, that at the time we didn't really recognize. We were just so happy to see the Soviet Union fall, and we thought, okay, fine, we're okay now. Everything's going to be so much better. Now you look back, the people we're fighting today, we were supporting in the fight against the Soviets.
So she explains radical Islamic terrorism. I'm not saying we're all to blame for it. Obviously, there's other factors, but it's being funded by America, Saudi Arabia, and Israel. One way or another, France is in on it. UK is in on it. I'm not hating on anyone. There's a lot of countries, but you get what I'm saying? This is what you'll never hear at CPAC. They just say, F Islam, we're fighting radical Islam. But most of the people that they have speak at their conferences have either funded it or don't say anything about it. The only people I've ever heard say anything about it is Rand Paul and Tulsi Gabbard. I've never heard any other politicians ever speak about it. All right, I'm reading a super chat real quick and then we'll read some. Love your talks, Anomaly. What do you make of Trump's professional relationship with Kushner? Is it a case of him suffering fools gladly? That's a great question. Thank you for the super chat. You know, I can't really speculate. I mean, obviously, Jared Kushner has a lot of power and influence in the Trump administration. He's in charge of building the wall. He's talking to China. I think if this were Hillary and Hillary had her daughter or her daughter's husband building walls and going to China, I think right-wingers would have a huge problem with it. But because it's Trump, I think people let him slide for it. Me, I hold reservations, but you know, it was like when he had, what was his name? John Bolton. When he had John Bolton in his advisory, I'm not a fan of John Bolton or his foreign policy, but I let Trump slide. I said, you know, maybe he's in there to just be a power force and Trump can do what he wants. And then Trump kicks out John Bolton. And next thing you know, John Bolton's on Twitter talking about Trump, where it's like, we knew that was going to happen, you know, so that, to me, that is the downfall of the Trump administration so far has been his most loyal people have been targeted, Michael Flynn, Roger Stone, and others. And the least loyal people have been, you know, swarming him. People like Sundlin was a never Trumper. Sundlin donated $1 million apparently, and then Trump put him in the Ukraine position and they turned on him. Roger Stone actually on InfoWars, he told Trump a year and a half ago that Fiona Hill was a plant. He said, Fiona Hill's a Democratic operative, you know, get her out of there. No one listened to Roger Stone. Now he's going to jail, and Fiona Hill's on the stand testifying against Trump. So it's like, that will be the downfall. And so far that has been the downfall, although I think he's going through it, is who he surrounds himself by and what there are. But like with Kushner, it's like, this is the part that annoys me. Shapiro, Crenshaw, pretty much every Republican, Prager, as great as they are, they will say it's anti-Semitic to suggest that someone has dual loyalty. When it comes to Jared Kushner, I hope he builds a great wall. I hope he gets good China trade deals. But the guy obviously has some loyalty to Israel. The guy, he's, they like him over there. He likes them. I think he has a relationship with them that's, beyond just like a regular, like, oh, I'm talking to, Germany. So that's the part that really annoys me about the right wing. I don't even care who's who, but it's like they make it hate speech for you to say what everyone knows. It's like, does Kushner have interest in Israel? Of course he does. But if you say that, they'll say you're being a hater, even if you're nice about it. So, what is Kushner doing? I have no idea, but he has massive power and influence over Trump. And I don't, I've yet to really figure out if that's great or not. But I'm just with the shooter situation, I'm trying to say what Tulsi's saying. I'm trying to say what Ron Paul's saying. You can't stop a radical ideology that has been funded for decades. And even in Syria, before Trump got in, we were funding them. And even in Idlib, when we were there, according to my sources, we were protecting them. So it's like, even Trump, it's like, it's almost like the media is telling the opposite story. When they tell you you're fighting terrorism, sometimes you're supporting it. And then when and then when Trump does the right thing, all of a sudden they act like he's a war criminal. It's like Trump is compared to what Bush and Obama did, especially Obama and the Hillary administration, Trump is the furthest thing from a war criminal. They did 10,000 times as much as he did, but then he does the right thing one time and they try to flip the script. It's like anything you hear about the war, it's almost 180. Someone said there hasn't been a Democrat that made sense since John Kennedy. Someone said our Congress sells us out to the highest foreign bidders. It's been like this for decades and decades. Absolutely. The foreign bidders, corporate, the pharmacy industry, until Democrats cared about where they were getting their money. Then Cory Booker and even Tulsi Gabbard were like, hey, we're not going to take pharmacy money anymore. And the thing is also, they're not only taking money from foreign nations, they're taking money from people in America that have multiple interests. Like Tucker Carlson did a whole piece on Paul Singer. Paul Singer is an American citizen, and he's a hedge fund guy, and I think he cares about his hedge fund more than he cares about America. When Trump's biggest donor, Sheldon Adelson, I think he cares about Israel a lot. I know he cares about Israel a lot. That's just a fact. So when he gives $50 million to the GOP, why do you think that they're so gung-ho to sell out the First Amendment for that country? You think it's a coincidence, or they just love people a lot? No, they're doing it because they got money to do it, to suppress people from criticizing people like Soros, Rothschild, or anybody. So it's all that. And then, of course, George Soros, they try to say on the right wing that it's anti-Semitic to talk about George Soros, but everyone knows it's not. That's what he does. You could look at his Wikipedia or his biography. He is a philanthropist who has manipulated entire economies. He goes to smaller countries, gets involved with the economy. He's crashed entire economies. He's all over the world. It's like saying it's anti-white to say that Steve Bannon is all over Europe. Like, oh, that's an anti. No, that's what Steve Bannon's doing. He's going over to Europe and trying to push nationalism. I'm not going to stop you from saying that. That's what Steve Bannon's doing. George Soros is doing that with the left on a bigger scale, but they try to say you can't do it. And the part that people don't understand or don't want to understand or don't want to fathom is it's not just the left wing suppressing your right to talk about people like George Soros. It's the right wing. And in some cases, they're even more guilty because they're not just blabbing about it. They're passing legislation that literally makes it a crime to say the truth in a school in Florida. And the reason they're doing that is because Israel has a lot of power. Why is a Saudi aviation dude training in Florida? It's because Saudi Arabia has a lot of power. You think Iran would be able to blow up the Twin Towers and then we just have Iranian military agents training in Florida? Are you kidding me? Of course, but Iran doesn't have that much power. Pakistan doesn't have that much power. Pretty much any Muslim nation doesn't have that much power. That's why they're there. That's why they're allowed to get away with it. You think Bolivia could blow up our towers and we would bring Bolivians into Florida so they could kill American, students? Of course not. It's because Saudi Arabia has power. So the right wing is full of crap. Their head is so far up Israel's ass. They don't want you to talk about them, not because they think it's anti-Semitic. That's where they're getting paid from, or that's where the power is. So you think I'm ever going to get, maybe I will, but it's like they'll probably never invite me to the White House again. All these people that are like, they're all, even people that aren't Jewish, they're all like dual Israel. It's like Israel, 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 like even the Hispanics. It's like, I'm not even anti-Israel, but it's like a little weird. I don't even go there. Like Puerto Rico's part of the U.S., but like Brazil, 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 Brazil. That would make more sense if you're Hispanic. It's like everyone's like Israel, Israel. Do you want to go to Israel? Now I'm going to go fly to Israel. It's like, dude, maybe if you take the First Amendment back, I'll go fly to Israel and I'll have fun with my Israeli fans and we could talk to Netanyahu's people. But if you're going to sell out the First Amendment for them, I'm not really interested right now. So, it's like they're so, and then they're like, why is the far right growing? Because you're doing too much. You're creating more hate on that side, and it's not good. It's like you got to stop selling the freaking country out. It's not their fault. River Bear said, "Are you on D Live? There are so many youth to reach there. I'd love for all my faves to migrate instead of mention on YouTube. Thanks for all you do." I'm gonna check out D Live soon. My friend is building his own streaming platform though, so I was gonna try to partner with him on that. If that works, then I'm gonna do that. If not, I'll go to D Live. Someone said, "I think 9/11." I'm not even going to speculate about 9/11. I mean, there's a lot of speculation from all angles. I mean, forever people blame George Bush, inside job. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to just say it again, and then we'll look at some comments. This is according to them. I always use what they say to be like, even with what you say, it doesn't add up. You said we got attacked by Al-Qaeda. I know through Hillary Clinton and others that we funded that ideology, so they got a lot of power because we worked with them. So we worked with them. We broke off. They attacked our towers. We go to Iraq. We go to Syria. We go to Libya. We go to Afghanistan. We go all over the place. And then bin Laden, who's a billionaire, a Saudi, I mean, he's one of the richest Saudi families in the world. He's in Pakistan, but we're not fighting Pakistan. We're fighting other countries. And then we're selling them weapons. And then we're still letting their people fly planes in our own country in 2019, almost 2020, when we know most of the hijackers came from there. So you don't even have to say it's an inside job. It's a mainstream knowledge that something is profoundly wrong here. There's something profoundly wrong. No matter who you want to blame, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, Saudi Arabia or any country on the planet, something's not right here. And now people on our own country, they say that the border security isn't, oh, that's not an invasion, guys. That's not an invasion. Okay. Well, what's it called when the same people, the same country that a lot of the 9/11 hijackers came from, what's it called when they kill people on one of your military bases when they're training to fly planes? This is a sick joke, guys. And until Republicans wake up and realize that it's not just the left wing, at this point, it's hard to say that they even like America. I think there's some patriots like Tulsi Gabbard and others, but a lot of them legitimately don't even like the country. On the right wing, you have these phony people who are passing anti-free speech legislation to call them out for the bullshit that they're doing. That's why they're passing the bill. They don't want to be criticized. They're like sneaky tyrants. They want the power. They suck on the power teeth. I'm America first. No, you're not. Everyone knows you're not. It's not just the far right angry kids on D Live. I'm not saying you're all angry, but everyone knows you're not America first. So it's like they just had the balls to go to your event and tell you. I don't care if some of them were a little angry and mean. My feelings aren't hurt. Ooh, Anomaly. They say to me, some of the groyper, Anomaly, your hair's long, you're a degenerate. Oh, I'm going to cry. Oh, no, he called me a degenerate with long hair. Oh, I hate that. Who cares? Call me a degenerate. That's fine. I'd rather you call me that and do good work than do nothing. So, that's where we're at. So I'm just, let's see. Let's read some questions because this is and no Republican, they're going to be like, we'll look into it. We'll look. It's like General Barr. Oh no, there was nothing suspicious at the prison. He just disappeared. It's like someone said you're nuts. What am I nuts about, Stephanie? Tell me what I'm nuts about. Let's hear it. The world is nuts, said Bear. Sneaky tyrants. Let's see. Someone said Democrats, the elite rhino Republicans. Here's what I'm saying, though, too. Obviously, the rhino Republicans are sold out and they hate Trump. The neocon Republicans, they don't like Trump's foreign policy because it's better than theirs. But here's what people need to understand. You go down to the, I like, what's his name, Dr. Shiva. Dr. Shiva calls them the not-so-obvious establishment. The grassroots, organic, campus conservatives and all their new, look, we don't like the neocons. We don't like the rhinos. They're just as sold out in a different way. That's what I'm saying. It's not just the neocons and it's not just the rhinos. It's that whole underclass that's like, look, we're not the rhinos. We hate the rhinos. We hate the left. Drink liberal tears. They sold out the First Amendment. And I say that now they won't even let me speak on podcasts. I just recorded a podcast and I exposed all of this stuff. And I get a text message saying, that episode's not going to air. Of course it's not going to air because everything I said was 100% fact. And no one wants, if you're a Republican and a conservative and you don't even stand up for the First Amendment, there's something wrong, guys. I don't want Google to shit on the First Amendment. I don't want Nancy Pelosi to stumble around. I just don't want to listen to her at all. I don't want Chuck Schumer. I don't want any of these people to sell out the First Amendment on the left wing. So why would it be, oh, yeah, but we're not the left. We're drinking liberal tears and listening to Ben Shapiro. So it's cool when Ron DeSantis sells out the First Amendment and Dan Crenshaw doesn't care about. No, they're awful. And all these kids under them are like, oh, they don't have the balls to say it because then they can't work at the network that's paying them. If they say what I say, they know I'm not lying. It's a fact. They know it. They don't want to not be invited to CPAC. They don't want to not be able to speak on the college campuses. But what are they doing? That's my point. If you're going to college campuses to pretend like you're standing up for American values, when you know all of your friends and your political allies are selling out the First Amendment, you're a fraud and you're going to be called out. You're going to get groped. You're going to get asked questions. You're going to get exposed. Truth is not on your side and God is not on your side. So good luck. You'll need it. Going against the truth and God, you're going to need a lot of luck because putting a Republican badge on and putting a conservative badge on while selling out your own country militarily and selling out your own First Amendment is not going to age well. So I don't know who you think you're fooling. I hope you get a few more bucks before the big, before it ends. Someone said, what do you think will come of the IG report? I don't know. To me, speculation is interesting, but proof, my opinion, doesn't matter. If the IG report's a bombshell, it's a bombshell. If it's not, it's not. Nobody's speculation matters, in the long run. Everybody's been speculating. I want action. We had Epstein. He's gone. There's people writing articles about it. The BBC's going pretty hard on it. Shout out to the BBC. I'm surprised. I mean, they're British. They're like British government. I'm surprised they're even doing this stuff. They're doing some pretty good work on the Epstein stuff. I'm like, what are y'all doing here? It's very interesting. Someone said God gave us free will, and absolutely, and it feels great. And you will get rewarded. You will get rewarded for standing up for the truth. We're all sinned. We're all flawed. We're all going to make mistakes. But it's not that hard to not lie. All right, let's read some stuff. Someone said BBC is on Epstein because of Prince Andrew. No, I know that, but I'm surprised that they're even doing that. Like, I thought they would PR team for Prince Andrew. Dude, they're like, yo, you take the fall, dog. We're not, we got a whole royal family. We don't need you. Prince Andrew's like, no, I just went there. Me and Epstein were playing Candyland. What do you mean? Come on, we were just playing Trouble. Where you pop the dice in the middle. We were just playing Trouble. I was just at a pizza parlor. That's what he said. He's like, I couldn't have been there. I was at a pizza party. He's like, dude, we were just hanging out. We were just hanging out playing chess. And then BBC's like, get out of here. They're like, we can't have you tainting up the royal family. Someone said, are you afraid to talk about the writ of habeas corpus? I'm not afraid of anything, but I'm not afraid to talk about anything, but I don't know anything about that. So you could talk about it, but I'm not I'm not educated or well researched on that. I don't even really understand it. Is that a habeas corpus? Is that the thing that Obama overturned that basically says you can go to prison? Isn't that the thing that Obama overturned that says you can go to prison for like without a fair trial or something? If that's what it is, no, I'm not afraid to talk about it. It's just, let's see. People's eyes are being opened up at an alarming rate. Absolutely. And my thing is to conservatives, to Republicans, to Democrats, you don't need, this is my human plea from the ground level. I don't want your money. I don't want your power. I don't care if I'm ever invited to your events again. I don't want control. I don't want to be elected. You could have it all. You could have the banks. You could have billions of dollars. You could have all the power, all the money, all the islands. You could do whatever, but don't do the Epstein Island thing. That's a little weird. But you could have whatever you want. Just all you guys got to do is move a little bit. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. No one on the right wing, just, you can support Israel if you want. Just stop selling our country out for them. It's very simple. They don't need a speech bill. And you think Saudi Arabia would let you write a speech bill in Saudi Arabia against Saudis and against Muslims for Christians? Of course they wouldn't. You think Israel would do that? Of course they wouldn't. Because Israel and Saudi Arabia are smart. Israel and Saudi Arabia like the people of their country. These American Republicans are trash. So it's not even, it's a compliment to Saudi Arabia and Israel. Congratulations for not being as cucky as these loser American politicians. These guys are losers, and it's not Israelis' fault. It's Americans' fault. Stop blaming them. Someone said, here's some pizza and trouble money, my dude. Love at the Real Tom Borum as a super chat. Thank you, but I don't eat pizza, dog. Too much cheese, too much bread. I'm going to buy some like a Thai, what's it called? Curry. I want like a chicken curry or Penang curry. I'm going to get a Penang curry. And here's the thing I want people to understand too, because someone asked me, they said, Anomaly, what do we do? And I explained, you do what those kids did. I mean, you don't have to be as mean. You don't have to be as hateful. In my opinion, that their questions were not framed properly. But you go to these events and you ask people questions. You say, hey, Dan, or hey, Ben Shapiro, or hey, Charlie Kirk, I love what you're doing. I love conservatism. You could even say, if you love Israel, you could say, I love Israel. But why are you not saying anything about the fact that they sold out the First Amendment in Florida, not just for Israel, not just for religion, but also for a whole ethnic and religious group, a foreign country, government regulating what you could say and what you can't say, and it's worded so broadly it makes no sense. And it's supposed to be a religion bill, but it's only for one religion. That's all you have to say. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to ask, about just ask. And then they pivot. They'll smear the crap out of me, but then they'll pivot. They'll call you all mean names, but then they'll change their immigration policy. I mean, what they did was embarrassing. They're embarrassed. And they should be. And it's okay. They just need to stop lying. Just stop lying. You could have all the power. You can go to all the college campuses. You could have it all. Just stop selling our country out. Stop playing we're beating the left. No, you're not. Today we're getting attacked in our own country by the people who did 9/11. And that's not a conspiracy theory. It's in Vanity Fair, for freak's sake. Someone said, I love you and Cassandra Fairbanks. Keep on. Thank you. God bless Cassandra. Cassandra's a real patriot. She loves Julian Assange, and she loves free speech. We're kind of cut from the same cloth. We're different in some ways, but actually she's part Puerto Rican too. That's pretty funny. But maybe it's our Puerto Rican blood. But she's consistent with American freedom. She liked Bernie Sanders. Big mistake, we know. But she stands up for free speech more than conservatives. And they're like, oh, you're a liberal. No, you're so into like the team nature of these, like, that's why people have said it. And I say, don't idolize people. I'm not an idol. Ben Shapiro is not an idol. Dan Crenshaw is not an idol. Prager's not an idol. Follow God and understand humans are flawed. Understands they might mislead you, understand they might lie to you, and especially in politics. Like even me, I'm telling you the truth right now. I don't have to do this, but it's like I'm not swayed by what they're swayed by. If I stay in politics for 15 years, I wouldn't trust me either. You know what I'm saying? I don't like politics, but if I turn into a politician and I start lying, you should call me out. I'm not God. I don't supersede the truth. I'm a human. What comes out of my mouth is true because I say it. If I start lying, don't make excuses for me. You know, don't be like, oh, I like Anomaly, so now that he sold out the First Amendment for our country and he's putting us at war nonstop, no, that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? You gotta hold people accountable. Someone said, no idol, but you inspire. That's what I want to do. And that's what a lot of these people don't do. You know what I'm saying? They want you to look up to them. I've been told, I'm not here saying anything, but I've been told the reason before they didn't book me to these events is because I wouldn't worship them. They don't want leaders. I'm glad I'm inspiring. I want to inspire. I don't want you to look at me and think, oh my God, I just want to do. No, go build your own company. Have an amazing day. That's why I say it at the end of every podcast. Go have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy what you have. They want work. They want you to worship them. I'm not trying to call it, but it's like clearly they don't stand up for the First Amendment. Once I see that, I'm over it. It's like without the First Amendment, everything else goes. Anomaly, that's just one situation. If it was just Democrats, we could fight it. If both parties are doing it, it needs to be called out. Someone said, just an extra $5 to be sure you know the pizza in trouble comment was a joke at the prince's expense. I respect your dietary. Oh, okay. I got it. Sorry, I haven't been following the Prince Andrew thing that much. Tracy said, pizza is low carb if you eat. No, I'm not knocking it. I just don't. I just want a Penang curry. That's all. I just feel like a Penang curry. All right, let's answer a few questions. Okay, let me see. Someone explained it. A writ of habeas corpus, he was saying, I was afraid to say this one. A writ of habeas corpus, which literally means produce the body in a court order demanding public official, deliver an imprisoned individual to court and show a valid reason for the person's detention. The procedure means prison inmates. Yeah, that's what I said, basically. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Didn't Obama overturn it? You're supposed to have the right to a fair trial, but habeas corpus, one way or another, supersedes that freedom. And we lost it, I believe, but I got you. Someone said, don't even get me started. There's an attack on American values and traditions for progressive socialists. Absolutely. And that's what a lot of us are trying to do is like, a lot of it's coming from the left, but the not so obvious establishment on the right, the left-wing Overton window so far, they're like, no, but we're going to censor because they're censoring. We're going to be politically correct because they're going to be politically correct. We're going to do minority identity politics because they're doing minority identity politics. We're going to do this because they're doing this. And I'm like, it's all annoying. Why don't you just laugh hysterically at it? Like, they're like, yeah, but he said something homophobic. That word is the dumbest word. Who's afraid of homosexuals? Who's afraid? Maybe like 20 people in this country, maybe more. But it's like to accuse someone of being homophobic. Literally, I'm just going to say the guy said, he said the Steelers are FAAGS. That's what he tweeted. And you had all these right-wing media. He's homophobic. He said a four-letter word. He could have used a better word, but he called the Pittsburgh Steelers FAGS. You think he's homosexuals? Because that's just what people used to do in 2008. Every rapper used that word. And then people said they were offended. Rappers said, okay, I'll use a different word. But it's like to bring up that in 2008 and be like, dude, he called the Pittsburgh Steelers FAG. He's a sports fan who doesn't like the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's not this maniacal guy who hates all homosexuals. It's like, that's the type of stuff people. These people who act like they're fighting against it. The LGBT movement, 2008, since they got the marriage legalized, it's like they're worse for LGBTs than anyone else. It's like Blair White is good for transsexuals. annoying. And she is smart politically. And it's like Blair White does well for the transsexual community. Everyone else is just kind of annoying. Not everyone, but same with like Scott Presler. He's cleaning up trash. I mean, that's the best thing you could do. Like, who's mad at that? You got to be a real weirdo to be mad at someone gay cleaning trash up here. Oh, these dang gays won't stop cleaning up our neighborhoods. I mean, they're out of control. That's how you get people to like, but then it's like the people doing the most, they're like, oh, you don't like my foreign policy because you're a homosexual. No, you're annoying. And you have no value besides just saying your sexuality. It's like, just clean up trash like Scott Presler or make sense like Blair White. Don't be annoying. Oh, now you don't like Turning Point because we have a gay man. No, you're just not answering questions properly. No, we're not mad at that. We're mad because you guys are being weird. Like the LGBT community, you're doing too much. They're like, what if everybody was oppressive? And it's like, why don't you not? Let's not do that. Someone said LGBT stands for liberty, guns, booze, and Trump. That's pretty funny. I've seen a shirt like that. Someone said LGBT community are attacking freedom, religion, and free speech. Of course they are. Nothing will make people hate you more than doing that. And it's the same thing with, oligarchs who happen to be Jewish. It's like, if you want to stop anti-Semitism, you should act like Rob Schneider acts. I love Rob Schneider. He's Jewish, but he doesn't attack free speech. He is very, very, honestly, in my opinion, very much more educated than most conservatives when it comes to foreign policy. Rob Schneider gets it. That's how you defeat anti-Semitism. You just crush it. You know what I'm saying? And then people look up at you. It's like, if you're like Kanye West, that's how you make people like, people that are maybe hateful. They look at you and realize that you're not trying to destroy the country. And then they're like, yo, I like Kanye West. You know what? I might listen to rap music. He's building a farm and he wants to make American goods and he likes Trump. That's how you stop racism. It's like the people who act like they're fighting racism the most, whether they call themselves Republicans, they're always the most annoying people. Like, have you ever heard me complain about, like, if I'm a certain race and I'm annoying, it's not a good look for my people. It's like, don't be annoying. Like when someone's like, ooh, these white people in control, you're like, it's like, just admit there's annoying white people and then we can move on. It's not that hard. 9/11 inside job. I'm just reading comments. Check. Let's see. Bad baby, bad Barbie. What about bad baby? Oh, are you talking about there's two things that were really funny in racial news. We'll get into that while we're not being controversial enough. Bad baby or Barbie or whatever her name is. She's like a younger, like R&B singer, like Catch Me Outside in Your Heart. But she had like dreadlocks on. And they were saying she was trying to be black, and she did a video, and she crushed like everybody on Twitter, even like most people who are black are like, yo, she's not lying. She was like, you say I'm trying to be black when I make my hair all braided. What are y'all doing when you wear weaves and try to make your hair straight? Are you trying to act white? Like, I'm just being me. She's right, and like everyone knew she was right. So it's like, yeah, everybody wants to talk about cultural appropriation, except when they do it. You got black Instagram models, they're like bleaching their skin. I don't suggest doing that. It's really weird. It's like a Dr. Seuss thing. You got black chicks bleaching their skin to look more white, and then you got white chicks tanning until they're black. It's like, nope, just be happy with, your skin color. It's like, everybody wants to look Latina or like light skin black, and then you want to look whiter and black. It's like, just like you got white chicks trying to literally change their skin black, and then black chicks trying to change their skin white. Just deal with it. But everybody then wants to call them out. But you have my hair. You have my hair. Just do what you want. Wear a wig if you want. Braid your hair if you want. Who cares? But another thing that was pretty funny in racial tension news that's not really a big deal is someone said something about, I think, LeVar Jackson or a black quarterback, about they couldn't see the ball because his jersey was black and his skin was black. He said black skin. And the media freaked out. And it was awesome. Richard Sherman, who's one of the most famous cornerbacks, a defensive player in the NFL. He came on and said, yo, he's right. He said, when we play them, we knew what he was talking about. When we play them, it's hard to see the ball because his skin and the uniforms are dark. It blends in just like color wise. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you have a pink guy standing next to a pink wall in like a pink stadium, it might get a little confusing. So I thought that was great. Richard Sherman standing up for him and being like, listen, he's not racist. He could have used better words, but it's not racist to say you can't see the ball because of the skin color. He's like, on defense, we legit can't see it. That's like what's happening. So that's the type of stuff that crushes racism. It's like, just stop being annoying. People don't like annoying people. Don Lemon is annoying. He doesn't even know what the word disrespectful means, which is funny. You're not stopping racism, but and then people are like, yo, we don't like this guy. He's like, oh, you don't like me because I'm black? Ooh. Kamala Harris is just awful. Oh, it's because I'm black. No, we just voted for Obama 2 times. Has nothing to do with, oh, I'm a woman. No, it has nothing to do with your gender. No one liked Hillary Clinton, except for apparently more people like Trump, according to the popular vote. But also, people like Tulsi Gabbard, and then we get called a Russian agent. It's like, you can't win with these liars. It's nothing to do with your gender. We just don't like you. Oh, you don't like me because I'm white and part Puerto Rican and Italian and Polish, and I'm a man. You just don't. It's so annoying. Someone said I didn't vote for Obama. I'm just saying people voted for Obama. I know you might have not, but it's so annoying. Like, the worst people hide behind their gender and skin color. And then they wonder why people are starting to hate their gender and skin color. It's so weird. It's the same with like identity politics on the left and the right. Like Charlie Kirk and them are like, why are these white supremacists trying to do white identity politics? It's like, well, Charlie, your entire organization does black identity politics all the time. Everyone does Hispanic identity politics, woman identity politics. Why are they trying to be a men's group? Because they're doing what you're doing. But when you say that they can't do it, it's like, I don't care about any of it, but if everyone else does it and then they try to do it and you call them supremacists, are you only allowed to identify as white if you hate yourself? Oh man, I wish my ancestors weren't such bad, rotten people. Okay, you can identify as white. I don't hate myself. They're like, you freaking white supremacists, get the hell out of here. It's like, you made up that label. I don't even know what it means. I'm like, I know my family came from Italy. My family came from Poland. My family came from Czechoslovakia, I believe. And someone came from Puerto Rico. And at a certain point, all Puerto Ricans came from other places. I learned about the history of Puerto Rico, how some of them came from Italy. So everyone, we get it. It's like, okay, but then you say white. Okay, now you're grouping everyone together. Okay, so now I can only say that if I hate myself and I hate everything about it. Oh yeah, everything's my fault. I prefer organizing personally by people I actually like. I know, crazy thing. I hang out with Saudis that I like. I hang out with Jewish people that I like. I hang out with black people that I like, Hispanics that I like, white people that I like, Asians that I like. Crazy concept, right? I actually surround myself by people that I like. But my thing is, if everyone else is grouping by their race and then the whites try to do that, then even right-wingers freak out, where I get it. You don't want to seem racist, but to me, just observing, I think it's hilarious. I don't do any of it, but if they all do it and then they do it and you yell at them, aren't you kind of justifying what they're saying? Aren't you like exactly proving their point? It's like, you can't critique that power. They don't have power. You can't say it. You're banned on YouTube. Do you think anybody sees that and thinks, oh yeah, I mean, I thought they had power, but they banned me for saying they had power, so they must not have power. Here, I'm going to no. You're creating extremists. It would be funny if it wasn't so horrible, but it's like, tragedy is comedy sometimes. Either you laugh or you cry. I'm laughing right now. Someone said you hang out with us. That's correct. And I have no idea what ethnicity you are, and I don't care. I get comments all the time from people from Nigeria, Israel. Someone on my stream yesterday, I loved the comment. I loved it because they were like, I'm a secular Jew and I've never thought about what you're saying, but you're totally right. And an honest man is hard to find. And I just want to let you know, I didn't grow up with a lot of money, and I know, and I'm like, I know, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like demographically, you know, it's like there's people who are doing well and then there's people who aren't. But if they are doing well and you say they're doing well and people assume you hate everyone, it's like when you say the real thing, then people come out of the woodworks. I know, I've had conversations. I've been, you know, I know what's going on. It's just not being able to say it suppresses it. And when you say the truth, everyone likes it. That's an honest person. It's the best thing you could do for true diversity. It's like people get mad in racial groups, people get mad in religious groups. When you just like suppress them and lie about them, it's not fun. But it's fun when you just tell the truth. Then everyone comes out of the woodwork. Yo, Anomaly, I'm in Nigeria. You're totally right. Anomaly, I'm in Australia. I'm in Ireland. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Anomaly, I'm black. I'm Hispanic. Yeah, no, we don't care here because real people like the truth. And half these people that the moderate right says, oh my God, they're so racist. I know people that are literally 5 shades blacker than you that like them. So you're the gatekeeper of race now because they have an edgy race conversation. Now you're like, they're racist. There's people darker than you that like them. So are they racist too? This whole framing of things is annoying. It's like, you're annoying. You don't have to drag down an entire race because you're annoying. You know, it's like, oh, well, if people don't like me, they must just not like my race. No, everybody likes it who's not a liar. And then we go from there. And annoying people from every race, annoying white bloggers with 17 cats don't like what I'm saying. Is it all white women's fault? No, we have a lot of white women in the chat. God bless y'all. But there are annoying liberal white women who probably don't like what I'm saying. And that's fine. It's not everyone's fault. It's not all women's fault. It's not all cat owners' fault. We got some patriots here that have a lot of cats too. Someone said the truth is like poetry. Nobody likes poetry. LOL. That's funny. Yo, Two Gun Tommy, he said, I live in Pensacola. Tell me what's going on, Tommy. Let's get it from the source. We got Tommy on the ground. Let's see. Someone said, thoughts on Tim Pool? Tim Pool should auction off his hat for like $1 million. Someone will buy it. I mean, Tim does good work on Twitter. You know, I don't watch his videos though. I like his Twitter feed, but sometimes he just bugs out too much. I mean, sometimes I do too. But he'll be like, "Effing, this is crazy! Oh my God, every day! Oh my God, I can't believe they did this! Oh no, the left! What are they doing?" It's like, Tim, this is our world now, buddy. Relax. And he'll be like, "Dude, what the freaking?" Like, I'm just like, bruh, calm down. You know what I'm saying? Readjust, and we'll get back to right. He should auction it off for like $1 million, and then he could fund his operation. Someone said identity politics is in essence racism. That's what someone said. And what I'm trying to say is you have the left wing who does all identity politics except for white, and they just viciously, anybody European, they are not very friendly to. And then you go to the right wing and they do the same thing. Oh, well, we're fighting about it. No, you're pissing people off more. It's like, you can do that, but then everyone else can do it. If they can't, and even the identity politics they do is very cringe. It's like, we got the blacks here to be like, yo, we're the blacks with Charlie. And it's like, it's a little cringy. Like there's some winners in there for sure. You know, I got a lot of friends crushing it, but it's like, it just seems so inauthentic to me. Like, look, we have people. I like what Kanye's doing. You know, he goes in and just starts speaking. Like that's the red pill. He's not like, oh, he's just like, you know, maneuvering. So it's not just the left does it, and then the right lives in their world. And then they wonder why the far right's growing. It's because you do the same thing as the left. It's very cringe. You don't pick the best people, and then you yell at everybody else. It's like, why wouldn't the far right grow? I know these things. I see these things. I saw it a year ago. I'm like, guys, what are you doing? And the more you put, so I'm not a hater. It's just in the same way I know why Antifa feels that way. Probably a lot of pills, a lot of, you know, being let down by Democrats and being educated by these psychopaths. Like, you know, I feel bad for these kids, kind of. It's like someone needs to help them. All right, sorry. Let me see what Tommy Two Gun's saying. Tommy, I live in Pensacola. You got any word on the street, Tommy, or no? What's going on there? Someone said the far right's growing because of the far left, but the far right's also growing because the far left ruins everything, and then the moderate right wing is sold out. They're actually right. I don't agree. It's like some of these guys who are far right, you listen to their foreign policy, they're spot on. That's why they like Tulsi Gabbard, because they have the same foreign policy as Tulsi Gabbard. I'm not justifying everything that they're saying, but I'm not a liar, so I can identify, if Tulsi Gabbard, I don't like her domestic policy, that's why they like her. It's because a lot of these people have better foreign policy than the moderate right. Is that my fault for noticing that? Like I'm going to be blacklisted? No, they don't. They're growing because the far left is doing what they're doing systemically and all over the place, but also the moderate right does the same thing. You're incels, you're losers, you're too far right, you're racist, you're anti-Semitic, and then they sell the country out to Israel. It's like that you're proving them right. You don't have to hate Israel. I hope you love them. Just stop selling the First Amendment out. You think that's going to stop the far right when the far left and the moderate left is going crazy, and then the moderate right wing kicks you to the side, calls you racist, doesn't have good foreign policy whatsoever, and then if you try to correct them on immigration and say exactly what the left wing says, they call you racist? Dude, the right needs to wake up. That's what I'm saying too. Of course the left is not helping. They're absolutely growing the Trump movement and the far right, but it's the moderate right that has been exponentially growing the far right. And I'm the only one that's saying it. And I tried to explain this on a big podcast that would have gone on Blaze TV, but they cut me out of the podcast. So now these kids don't know. Now their audience is like, oh, we're beating the liberals. Have fun growing the far right. I'm trying to stop it. I'm trying to moderate it. And they don't care. They just like, oh, Anomaly told the truth. Let's kick them off the podcast. Okay, let's just keep building them and acting like we're fighting them. We're fighting the far left. No, you're growing them because you don't know what you're doing. And I try to tell them what they're doing, and they cut me out of the conversation. So you're going to have to deal with what you grew. I don't want this to happen, but apparently they do. I'm the only one trying to. I can talk to somebody on the far right and agree with them and then disagree with them, and they actually listen to me because I'm not a liar. They don't listen to the moderate right because they're all liars, and I don't blame them. It's like they haven't been challenged just like they haven't been challenged. You have two stubborn sides. So, someone said I'm over political parties. Yeah, I mean, obviously, in my opinion, like the Democratic Party is just bad. I just like someone was like, "How mad are you?" I'm like, I'm not voting, and I'm not voting for the Democrats, obviously. So they're both bad. I think the Democrats are worse, but our job, if we're going to be conservatives and they're going to invite me to the White House, I'm going to do all this stuff. My job is to make these people better. I would go to a left-wing event. I got hit up by somebody. Maybe I'm being set up, maybe not, but I got hit up by someone that's left-wing that is like worked for Hillary in Israel, and they want to film me in a documentary. Maybe they're trying to set me up. Maybe they legit like me, but I'll go talk to them too. And I'm not trying to destroy the Democratic Party. I want to make it better. And I tried to make it better, and they didn't want to hear it. So I'm over it. It's like nothing they're doing makes any sense to me. I don't want any part of it. But if they want to talk, I'll talk to them. Same with the right wing. I don't want to destroy the right wing. The Republican Party's made a lot of steps, but at the same time, there's some stuff they're doing that's unforgivable. The First Amendment is, once the first two amendments, that's a no-go. Once you start seeing them say red flag laws, and it's like, dude, no. And then they start saying, well, free speech, no. If you can't even stand up for the first two amendments, what are you doing? It's like, no, but Anomaly, come on, dude, let's just sell out the First Amendment together. No. No. So the Republicans just have to slide over a little bit, stand up. It's made some progress, but you guys understand. Someone said, Anomaly, would you consider covering a video with Paul Joseph Watson? I think y'all would be hilarious. I would love to. And that's another thing. Paul is somebody that they could book and hire, that maybe he's too, everybody that's good enough, they think is too edgy. Oh no, they'll ruin our brand. Your brand sucks. Your safe brand is so boring. But like Paul Joseph Watson, they're like, oh no, well, he's a conspiracy theorist. No, Paul Joseph Watson could answer all the questions that they can't answer. You put Paul there, Paul could answer them Easily. He's a smart guy, but they hate smart people. They're like, no, everyone besides us is too edgy. You're edgy. You're just dumber about it. It's so annoying. So I would love to do it. I think Paul's a smart guy. He's a funny guy. You know, I think me and Paul would have a blast. What do you think of Trump? I think he's crushing. You know, all that being said, the far right wants me to hate Trump and not vote for Trump. I like Trump. I think he's crushing. It's just like he needs some help. He's one guy. Bernie tried to run, and then he lost, and then he lied, and Trump won. He's there. He exposed the media. He exposed the two-party system. He exposed the intelligence communities. He exposed the military-industrial complex. Unless this guy's Jesus Christ, I mean, what else? What do you guys want from him? He didn't build the wall fast enough. You know, he works with Israel too much for you. I understand how you feel, but he's done so much. Imagine if someone told you in 2014 someone was going to win office, expose the two-party system, expose the intelligence communities, expose the media, start talking about immigration. I mean, he's done enough for me. I understand he's got some weak points, and that might be his downfall, the stuff that you're talking about. Who is he surrounding himself by? Do they really like him? I don't know, but it's like, dude, I love Trump. He's crushing. You know, he needs help. He needs help in politics. He needs help in media. He needs help on the ground level, and he needs his people to help him. Help. Ann Coulter, I used to not like her a lot just based off like presentation, but I don't know. You know, I don't that was like when I just didn't know anything about her. She's okay. I'm not hating. I'm not like, oh, but like, I'm not like a huge fan or anything, but I'm not going to sit here and hate on her. I think she's someone who actually tries to hold Trump accountable and use her influence to get Republicans to do stuff. You got to respect that. Let's see who we got. Answer a few more questions and we'll roll out. Who is going to judge their common sense here? Let's see what y'all are saying. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate it. Do I know Alonzo Rachel? Not sure. It's hard to be Trump when you don't know who to trust. I mean, listen, Donald Trump is Donald Trump. Like, you guys realize he just sold real estate and was on television and just like was crushing. He didn't have to do this. So it's like people are holding, he's done enough for me. You know, he served his purpose. He's done a lot. And I think he needs some help. And I think he's the type of person that understands who has power. He understands who has money. He understands who has influence. And he picks his battles and he doesn't pick certain battles. You could say you wouldn't do that, but it's a lot easier to say on a computer than to be in the freaking White House, going against the military-industrial complex, going against the media, going against Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Mitt Romney. It's easier said than done. So it's like, I think he needs help. And if he got enough help financially, if he got enough help politically, like even Sheldon Adelson. Yeah, Sheldon Adelson gave the GOP $50 million, but did someone else give him $100 million? Like if there was someone with more money that could help, you know, I'm not saying to do that, but you get what I'm saying? It's like, you got to do some stuff sometimes. So I think he's done enough. And if enough people helped, we could shift the conversation. Do you think regular people can be in Congress? Absolutely. Yeah. I just think regular people don't want to be. Like people are like, anomaly, you could be good in Congress. Yeah, I could probably win, but I don't want to be because I'm not. Who wants to be around those people? They're viciously, it's awful. But yeah, no, I think regular people can be. But like even regular people, like you don't even, they swarm you. Like they're just like, rah, rah, rah. Like it's weird. And who turned, like, so most people, what I've observed, most people who want to get into politics want power. And most people who want power can be swayed. So it's like, I think Ron Paul is pretty good, but there's not a lot of people, like even people that you would think are regular people, they still will take the money. They still will take the, they still will like, so many people care about being popular. Like I've never cared. I've been a rebel. I got suspended, detention. I was always a bad kid at school. But also when I did hip hop music, when I started doing it, I had record labels at, I believe, Sony. I had record labels. I had record meetings where they flew me across country for labels to talk to me. And they wanted me to change what I wanted to say. And I didn't want to do it. I'm not just saying that. So it's like, how bad do you want to be signed to a record label? Will you sell your soul? Will you change your content? Will you change your whole character and say stuff you don't believe in? A lot of people will. I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm here right now. So most people who get into politics, they want to do that. There's a lot of people in music who want fame and power so bad, they'll do anything. So it's like, who doesn't do that? Even Kanye said on his new album, he basically said, I sold my soul to the devil. Like, I don't think he literally made a sale, but he bought into that whole culture. And you know what I'm saying? But he identified that and spoke out against it. So it's like, people, like, what will you do? At the time, you don't know. Let me see. Anomaly, where would you move to? I don't know. Yeah, Ron Paul's a good guy. I think so. We'll read a few more comments and we'll roll out. I got some time. I'm going to be on a podcast tonight. I forget the name of it, but if you look on my Twitter, it's there. Do you consider yourself libertarian? It's a good question. I don't know. I don't really like, I say libertarian-ish. Like I wouldn't say I'm a Republican, but obviously I lean right. I wouldn't call myself a full-blown conservative, but I clearly am more conservative than people who call themselves conservative. So these are just labels. It's like, it is what it, like, if you call yourself a conservative and you sell out the First Amendment or want to nonstop fight war for another country, you're not really conservative. So it doesn't matter that you call yourself that. So I would say I'm conservative-ish, libertarian-ish, but I don't know. Like, I don't want to take the bad stigma that like people are like, oh, libertarians or this or that. It's like, I just call it like I see it. I don't really know. What do you think of Andrew Yang? That's a good question. That squirt video was hilarious. First of all, it was like some kid got on his knees and Andrew Yang like he sprayed it was like what's it called? Oh, whipped cream. Can't think of it, in his mouth. That was just bad optics, bro. But I don't like Andrew Yang. I think he seems like a funny guy, but I don't trust him. I don't like him. I don't like his policies. I don't like the fact that he just blends in with the Democrats. Oh, Russia, Putin. Trump's working for Putin. His foreign policy's whack. I think his whole UBI idea is whack. It's, to me, it's not good. But I don't like any part of it. The good thing is he brought up the fact that technology is going to shift, but he has a very downer approach. Like, they've been saying since the Industrial Revolution, oh, with this machine, there's going to be no humans. Now that humans don't farm, tractors are going to farm. Oh, there's no cars. There's no driving because of Lyft. It's like, they've said that, and thousands of jobs are created. People like Andrew Yang, in my perspective, before Trump got in, talk to Andrew Yang in 2014 and 2015. I guarantee he would have been like Obama in the sense of, you're never getting those manufacturing jobs back. Every time he's talking, you're never getting these back. They're never getting these back. They've said that, and then Trump got them back and created new jobs. We have more jobs than we have people looking for jobs now, according to reports. So, it's like, I don't agree with the doom and gloom. Like, we're all going to be run by robots. If it happens, we're going to need more than $1,000 a month to save us. Like the stuff Elon Musk is talking about. If that happens, getting $1,000 from the government's not going to matter. Even now, supply and demand. If everyone has $1,000, the financial problem has to do with fiat currency, the fact that the Federal Reserve took over our banking system, and possibly inflation or total collapse of the dollar via cryptocurrency, or the petrodollar being rendered useless by other countries. So there's a lot of financial problems, but it's like, getting $1,000 a month and saying that all the jobs are going to disappear, I feel like he's very, very whack. And like his foreign policy sucks. He reminds me of somebody who's like, I'm the reasonable, funny guy, but I just don't trust it at all. His Twitter is pretty funny though. Someone said Dems fear Tulsi Gabbard publicly. If you notice this, I'm going to tell you why, because I've said it a few times, but a lot of Republicans, they just are like, don't like Tulsi because she's far left. She hangs out with Antifa. She's a socialist, many of which might be true. But here's the thing. The real reason the Democrat establishment hates her is because she understands everything I said an hour ago. She knows that the United States is beholden to Saudi Arabia and Israel. She knows this. She knows that the United States taxpayer dollars are funding Wahhabist, like Saudi ideology in the Middle East. She's called it out for a decade. So that's a huge, huge threat. Her foreign policy is pristine. She's got some things I don't agree with, but even Steve Bannon admits that. He says that Tulsi has great foreign policy. She knows what's going on, and she's one of the few patriots in the U.S. government who is brave enough to call it out. Even if everything about her was phony, that alone, you get what I'm saying? Like, people are like, why doesn't Trump do this? Dude, Trump did like 17 things already. He exposed all the corruption at least. That's enough. Tulsi, same thing. She exposed the fact that our taxpayer dollars are being funded to terrorists, and she said it on CNN. I've always said I like Trump, I like Rand Paul, I like Tulsi Gabbard, and everyone else I could really care less about. I mean, there's a few winners like Jim Jordan is awesome. Mark Meadows and that little crowd does pretty well at the hearings, but I don't care about any of it. So it's like that alone already puts her leagues above. There's no competition. It's like playing with like a middle school basketball team and Tulsi Gabbard dunks and they're like, yeah, but she did that. Yeah, but look, then we need to clean house. Everybody else needs to go and we need to get new people because, it's like, that's why they hate her. They hate her because she's not with the military-industrial complex, and she knows everything they're doing. And also, regardless of how far left certain of her policies might be, according to some people, she's reasonable in a way. She could be a little annoying sometimes, but someone asked her, they said, what do you think about Trump's response to NATO? Joe Biden, everyone else would have smeared Trump. They would have called him this. She didn't do any of that. She does sometimes, but I'm saying less than them. You get what I'm saying? Everyone else would have just, Yang would have been like, oh, he's Putin's puppet. Oh, $1,000 a month. Shut up, Andrew Yang. But, Tulsi said, listen, she said, I read the headlines, but I read the salacious headlines, but I know they're headlines. I won't jump to conclusions. But she said, we do need to look at how we work with NATO. She knows that the NATO thing is full of shit. So everyone else would have been like, NATO's our greatest ally, and we need to work with them, and Trump's a shill. But she didn't do that. That's why people like her. That's why they hate her, is because even though she does throw Trump under the bus sometimes, she actually provides value. They lie about everything. When Tulsi said Trump is protecting Al-Qaeda in Saudi Arabia, Republicans freaked out. But what she was talking about is in certain regions, the United States is interfering with Russia and Syria and others getting rid of Al-Qaeda. So in a weird way, she was kind of right. So it's like, she can be wrong. She can push Trump in what I've called her a sneaky snake because she was a sneaky snake that day. She was complaining about the fake missile crisis. It was really weird, but maybe she knows something I don't. Maybe it was a real thing that they lied. I don't know. She annoyed me for a little bit, but that's why they hate Tulsi Gabbard. She gets it. And to be honest, that's the reason that the far right likes her a lot. It's not because of their left wing, but the far right values certain things more than they value conservative American things. They see certain things as threats to their existence and threats to their ideology, and they prioritize things differently. And if everyone talked about it like this, everyone wouldn't hate each other. But it's like they don't try to explain that. And one person who wasn't far right, who tried to explain the far right accurately and dissect exactly what they believed, was Milo Yiannopoulos. He did it on television on CNBC before Trump was elected. It was hilarious. It was funny. And, he's not out there anymore. So it's like they've replaced the people who explained it better with people who don't explain it. I would love to see Tulsi and Trump link up, or, I would love to see Tulsi's domestic policies not be so far left, but, you can't win them all. Someone says she can't beat Trump. She's probably not going to win her nominee, but I mean, here's the thing too with the Trump election. I think Trump's going to win. I think he has so much support. I think he's crushing. I think they're screwing up with the impeachment thing. But don't sleep on what Google and Susan Wojcicki did. They filtered 70% of content away from controversial content, which is just honest content most of the time. They filtered it to non-controversial content, which is military, industrial complex, big pharmacy media. So, that's a lot of influence. You're talking about billions of people, billions of influence shifting at 70% they're getting millions of people to register. So you got to watch. I think Trump will win, but they've rigged everything and they're coming for the gusto. And they're purposely flipping demographics to take over the country. And that's not a far-right opinion that Charlie Kirk and that Dan Crenshaw say, oh my God, you're so racist. It's in the Washington Post, you sellout liars. It's in Democrat operatives are on camera saying, we're purposely doing this to shift it left. Julian Castro said it on television. Texas is going blue because the demographics are shifting. The Washington Post just admitted it yesterday in their news stations. And you have sellout Dan Crenshaw and sellout Charlie Kirk saying it's a right-wing racist conspiracy theory. This is why you lose, because we're being led by liars. And I hate to bring it up all the time, but they're selling out the First Amendment. Now, I don't care about them anymore. It's like, dude, if we don't have free speech, these people are such liars. So someone said WAPO is not reliable. I'm not saying they're reliable. They're awful. What I'm saying is left-wing news is admitting they're changing the demographics of America, purposely depopulating to win elections, so right-wingers never win elections ever. And if you ask Charlie Kirk that question, that Washington Post admitted they're doing, it's not saying they're trustworthy, I'm just saying they're telling the truth about what they're doing, and left-wing groups are admitting it on television, and Julian Castro's, and you say, Charlie, this is happening. Charlie says, you're a far-right, alt-right conspiracy theorist, and I'm going to sell out. Like, dude, these people are such liars. It's insane. Someone said, who believes the Washington Post? I'm not telling you to believe the Washington Post. I'm telling you they wrote an article saying that they're shifting the demographics. Do you not realize that the Washington Post doesn't like you? Have you not figured that out yet? That they don't like Trump and they don't like conservatives? So when they openly boast about not liking you and replacing you with foreign people, so you're gonna, that's a conspiracy theory. They're not doing that. The Washington Post loves us. They love us, and they're trying to lose elections because they never tell the truth. So if they said that, then that means that they're not doing it. They're going to vote for Trump. No, they're telling you what they're doing there. When they say Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is a problem, it doesn't mean that it's really a problem. It means that that's what they think. They're telling you what they think. They're not telling you the truth. So when they tell you that they think they're doing that, they're doing that. Someone said, then anomaly, what do we do? What I'm doing, what everyone's doing, is don't let them do this. Don't allow them to just lie and censor people and shill on the right. The left, we already know they don't care. We know this. I'm not saying it's fine, it's not fine, but we can only do so much about that. When your own party and your own leaders sell you out and say the truth is illegal to say, and you can't say it or else you're a hater, that's a problem. The solution is stop acting like they're cool. Someone just texted me. They were like, dude, did you see No Safe Spaces? No, I'll watch it, but it's like, stop acting like what they're doing is cool. Wow, they made a video about no safe spaces as they sold out the First Amendment and literally need a safe space in order to, have a conversation about right-wing stuff and call you a racist if you say the truth. Stop acting like that's cool. They're just controlled op, like, oh, we're doing just enough to act like we're fighting the left, but we'll sell you out the same way. Be like, go to the event, watch the movie, and say, hey, this is a great movie, Dennis. How come you guys don't care about the First Amendment? How come your little clique of free speech activists call everyone racist for saying what everyone knows is true? What's going on? How come you guys are so intolerant to the truth? That's what I'm saying. You could see their stuff, but when all Republicans are like, man, we're fighting the left wing. Oh, man, No Safe Space is such a great movie. wow, Ben Shapiro's really, really stopping the safe space. And no, they're not. They're not doing that. I could act like they're doing that, but they're not. So that's all you have to do is show them love, be nice to them, be kind to them, be respectful, but stop letting them do that. And how do you stop that? Going to the events, talking to them, communicating with people who also like them. Say, hey, I like them. Hey, you can say, I love Israel. I hate anti-Semitism, but did you see this bill? That's a lot better than what the far right's doing. No offense, you guys, but that's what a lot of these far right kids are doing. They're going there all angry, USS Liberty. I mean, it's a legitimate question with the USS Liberty, but I'm saying don't be so angry. Be like Jesse Lee Peterson. Take the hate out of your heart and just lead with the truth, and then you can't lose. If you come with emotion and you come with hate and you come with actual hate, then you become what they say you are. And then the moderate right's right. And then it's like, you get what I'm saying? The far right is right. The moderate right is not America first. The moderate right is right. The far right is hateful. You guys are like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're just like both exactly right about each other. But it's like, go with love, go with truth. My buddy Seth said, all we need to do is stay righteous and we will win. That's it. So it's like, it's all a self-fulfilling prophecy of like, oh my God, the far right is hateful. It's true. A lot of people are hateful. Like Jesse Lee Peterson, you could tell that guy doesn't have hate, but a lot of these kids do. So take the hate out of your heart, talk to them and say, I love what I love. I am who I am. I believe in freedom. I don't want people to hate me or anybody or a certain race or religion, but you guys got to stop doing this. And trust me, the last little campus thing they had, people moved their policy position. They could call us whatever they want. They could lie about me. They could lie about whoever. They could tell the truth about whoever, but they shifted. It works. It's already working. So there's nothing to worry about. It's just, if you choose the path of anomaly, you're crazy, the First Amendment doesn't matter, it's just a little bill, like it's not a big deal, then you're going to lose. If you say, you know what, I've never thought of that, it's true, I'm not going to be crazy, but I'm going to have conversations with people who listen to them and go to the events and talk about this stuff, and we're going to build, it'll work. It's love. Someone said no hate resides within me. That's awesome. I get passionate. I actually think it's funny when I start yelling, but it is what it is. And I'm saying with you guys in there that are asking questions, all I'm saying is there's a better way to frame the question. Like, for instance, the person who asked Crenshaw a question was great. But even that, just tell them. You could say, hey, listen, outside, I don't care who you support. I don't care who you are. Why did Republicans sign a bill in Florida that's a religious bill for one religion that doesn't include every other religion, that goes further than religion, that goes into ethnicity, that also goes into a foreign country and has the government regulate what you can and can't say? That's no bueno. I understand that there's certain things being taught in schools, but it's like, there's a lot of stuff going on in schools. The school system is awful. We don't need that bill. There's a lot more that needs to be done. So it's like, just ask a question in a nice way, and then they can't call you hateful, I mean, they'll still try. I'm sure they'll probably say stuff, but Patrick said, yo, you smoke too much and this upload on Facebook is too much. Haven't smoked in a long, long time. Not high, completely sober. Everything I said is literally searchable. It's all, you could Google anything I said and find it in the Tampa Times and, Florida newspapers, Vanity Fair, New York Post, New York Times, Washington Post. I'm not saying to trust them. I'm just saying with the other information that it's all available. There's nothing. Someone said, what bill is that? I've explained it so many times. It's annoying me, but maybe you weren't there. But on Twitter every day, oh my God, no, it's the left wing. No, it's the right. Search Ron DeSantis anti-Semitism bill. He signed a bill in Florida that, he signed the bill in Israel. It's the first Florida bill ever signed on foreign soil. So you wonder why these farther right kids are wondering what's going on because of stuff like this. He goes over to Israel, signs a bill for Florida, the first one ever signed on foreign soil, That's a religious school bill. It's an anti-Semitism bill, but they tried to pass it off as we have racial bills. We have all these. We're going to put a religious bill to limit what you could say in school. Okay, so it's for every religion, right? It's for Christians, it's for Catholics, it's for Hindus, it's for Sikhs, it's for Muslims, it's for Jews. No. It's a religion bill. Keep in mind, Ron DeSantis is not even Jewish. He's a Catholic or Christian. He's selling out his own religion. But he passed a religion bill that doesn't include his own religion. That only includes Judaism. But it's not a religion bill. It's a total lie. They said it was a religious bill to stop religious hate, but it's not. It's an anti-First Amendment bill. It includes secular Jews who aren't religious. It also includes Israel. It says how much you can and can't criticize Israel, and the government can regulate that. It also includes everything. It says talking about any Jewish power, like Jewish control of media or banks or any situation, is a conspiracy theory and now can be targeted by the government. And I'll give you a hint. It's not to say it's everyone's fault, but if you look at Google, Susan Wojcicki is Jewish. So now good luck trying to talk about her in a Florida school. It might be illegal. George Soros, who the right wing can't stand, including a lot of right-wing Jewish people, rightfully so, the dude's all over the place. It's so broad, the bill has nothing to do with religion. It says criticizing Jewish power. You notice when Fiona Hill goes in front of Congress and she says, or whoever it was, said, oh my God, it's anti-Semitic to talk about George Soros. Right-wing people are constantly banned for events for talking about the Rothschilds or George Soros. This bill is not to protect your average Jewish American who's a patriot. This bill is to protect Israel. This bill is to protect the Soros and the Wojcickis and all of these mostly non-religious Jews who do control. I mean, you think Goldman Sachs doesn't know that there's a lot of Jewish people in banking? It's not to say it's every Jewish person's fault, secular or Orthodox, but it's like, they do have control in banking. A lot of Federal Reserve heads are Jewish. It's not everyone's fault, but this bill doesn't have anything to do with religion at all. It's an anti-First Amendment bill signed by Republicans in a Florida school in Israel, the first Florida bill ever signed, and they want to make it illegal for you to say what they're doing. Oh, it's illegal to say Ron DeSantis has dual loyalty. He does have dual loyalty. He sold out the First Amendment for a foreign country under the guise of religion. Oh no, it's anti-Semitic to say that, Jewish people have power. They do. Not everyone. Someone wrote me yesterday. She's like, Anomaly, you're spot on. I'm a secular Jewish person and I'm poor. There's thousands upon probably millions of Jewish people who don't have a lot of money. There's Hasidic Jews in New York City who are getting mistreated. There's Jewish people in California like Rob Schneider and others who can't stand that they're losing medical freedom. And it reminds them of horrible times, as it should. It's a disgusting thing that they're trying to pass in California. So this isn't to protect Jewish people. It's a bill passed by a country that influenced a lot of power over us, telling Americans on our soil. So where was Pensacola in? Is that in Florida? Well, there you go. Saudi Arabia, another country that has massive influence and power over the United States, they have one of their nationals flying planes in America or learning how to fly planes after 15 of the 19 hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. This is why this stuff happens, because the right wing is in on it too. That's what I'm saying. So that's the bill. Just Google Ron DeSantis anti-Semitism. And here's the part. You got Crenshaw and Shapiro and all them try to say it's anti-Semitic to disagree with it. The biggest opponents of this horrible bill were Jewish Floridians. Jewish rabbis didn't agree with the bill. Jewish lawyers didn't agree with the bill. You could search Jewish Floridians, anti-Semitism bill, Ron DeSantis, find that great article. A bunch of Jewish patriots said, Ron, this isn't a First Amendment bill. Ron, this has nothing to do with Jews. This is a total sham of a bill. So it has nothing to do. They always try to frame it. And they use Jewish people a lot, like the left wing uses Black, Hispanic, and women. Like, ooh, we love them so much. It's like, yeah, we know. That's awesome. I hope you do. But you're doing what the far right says you're doing. You're selling the country out for a foreign country and selling the First Amendment out for another country under the guise of religion. And it's so broad, it makes no sense. It's like if I pass a religious bill that was only for Christians, no other religion, but it also included all white Europeans under the bill of that, and you couldn't criticize America. It's not a religious bill. It's a freaking bill that doesn't want you to criticize certain power in America. It's like, oh, you can't talk about the Rockefellers. You can't talk about Nancy Pelosi. That's Republicans doing that. It's not Democrats. And you'll never hear about it because when I say it, they cut me out of the situation. If I'm on a podcast and I say it, they scrap the podcast. If I'm at an event and I'm not going to be at the events anymore, guys. They don't want to conserve your freedom. And this is why they're being challenged. This is why they need to be challenged. Yeah, I wish the far right wasn't so hateful, for sure. They're mean and they're angry and I wish they were a little nicer, but they're not wrong about what they're saying. All of these conservatives that act like socialism sucks, socialism does suck. But you know what else sucks? Republicans who sell out the First Amendment. Republicans who don't even care about the Second Amendment. They like red flag laws. Republicans who want you in endless war and they can't tell you why. Republicans who can't even keep the 9/11, the country that hijacked the planes and hit the towers, they're letting them fly. They're letting them train their military agents in Florida. And now they're killing people on a naval base, guys. So, you get what I'm saying? Google that bill. It has nothing to do. I love Jewish people. My Jewish buddy just super chatted me. I had Thanksgiving with all Jewish people. I don't need to justify how many Jewish friends I have, but it's like they know what I'm talking about and they know I don't hate them. And that's why I have long conversations with multiple friends, some who are Orthodox, some who aren't. I've heard all the perspective. I've talked to people who are doing well, who aren't doing well. I'm not stereotyping. I'm just saying Republicans are using Jews because Israeli donors give them a shitload of money and maybe they just don't care about freedom. I don't know. But this is it already is being used against Jewish people. It's like, where's Laura Loomer? Does she get the protection of these Jewish bills? No. Laura Loomer, she doesn't even have a bank account or social media. So why is this bill not protecting Laura Loomer? Because it's not designed to protect Jewish patriots. Where's Milo? Where's how come Rob Schneider doesn't get more love? It's because he's Jewish, but he doesn't hide it behind his Judaism or his Jewish ethnicity. He just is. And he leads with the truth and he crushes. And he doesn't need a bill to save him. Pensacola, someone said it's pronounced. Sorry, I didn't pronounce it right. All right, my buddy Venice Beach Dub Club said Israel isn't run by Jews; it's run by Frankist Luciferians, same as Congress and Hollywood. Says my buddy. It's interesting you say that because I follow this guy who's Orthodox on Twitter now too. His last name is Roth. And he said that the other day. I've never heard of Frankist Luciferians or Frankist, but he explained to me that whole concept. I've never even heard of this, so I don't even doubt it. And the person who did the super chat, not that it matters, but he is Jewish, and I've heard that from multiple Orthodox Jewish people that the country is being run by others. It's like. It's equivalent, and I don't know this because I know this is like I just said it because it's a super chat. Now they're going to say, "Oh, Anomaly thinks that." I haven't looked into it enough, but I want to say this too. It's like if I said I didn't like Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer or like I thought the intelligence communities, it's not attacking. I'm not attacking all Americans. If you have a perspective about Israel, Netanyahu, Gantz, Mossad, who's running the country, the Rothschilds, Soros. Even though I don't think he really has that much to do with Israel, I think his agenda is different. It doesn't mean like it's the right wing a lot of times that's so intolerant. They're like, oh, if you don't agree with what Israel's doing, you must hate all Jews because that's the homeland. That's such a straw man. It's like maybe they're being run by patriots. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're being, like he said, being run by really sick people. And the thing is, even I don't even want to say this because he's always suing people, but you look at certain people who are Jewish liberals, they admitted, like they act like this is a conspiracy theory. During the Nazi Germany thing, they were confiscating property from other Jewish people. So it's like, it's this whole shield that I agree with you in the sense of, I need to look more into that, but I think they use Jewish people. There's a group of people who hide their power and their corruption, their evil behind the Jewish race and religion. And it's awful. So, you're appreciated, Seth, and so are a lot of patriots and a lot of people I've been talking to. I'm learning more where I'm like, the only way you get this out is discussing. And I think the moderate right, or whatever they want to call themselves, they're overcompensating so hard that they don't even realize what they're doing, in my opinion, is harmful for Israel and Jewish people. It's like they go so far. I would never, like, I can't speak for everyone, but I don't care what someone thinks about Israel. I care that the First Amendment is being sold out. And I've never said otherwise. People probably assume all this other stuff. I've never even complained about the foreign aid. I think someone should be able to criticize foreign aid, all foreign aid, their foreign aid, whoever foreign aid they want. But also, I know how much money we waste. So I'm like, if we're going to waste trillions of dollars, I'm not going to cry about a few billion. But if I'm going to also lose my free speech to say it, okay, now I have a problem with it. It's like they overcompensate and they drive people to that. And with this Saudi Florida thing, it's also very suspicious that it's in Florida. Why is this, Hopefully Matt gets, I think that's his district, he can get to the bottom of this. Someone said our amendments in our country is being sold out. That's it. And that's the alarm I'm trying to sound. We know the left is selling it out. We know that Google's selling it out. We know that YouTube doesn't care about it. We know that they're writing articles in the New York Times about how free speech is overrated. We know that. But when you're going to these events of these right-wingers who say they're standing up for free speech, but they're actually the people who don't care that the First Amendment was sold out just released a video called No Safe Spaces. So they're going to get millions of conservatives to say, oh my God, we're fighting the left. No, you're not, because most of the people involved in that movie are a PR team for the people who sold out the First Amendment. People like Ben Shapiro, he had Ted Cruz on his podcast to talk about how anti-Semitic what they were saying in Congress was, and how they need to regulate it and do this. And Ben's like, yeah. And then Ron DeSantis passed the bill. They don't talk about it. They don't mention it. They smear you if you do mention it. It's not that I don't regulate what they talk about. I'm not trying to. It's okay that they don't talk about it, but they don't talk about it. And then they try to ruin everyone who does talk about it. So, and their foreign policy just sucks. Someone said it was said to beat the Germans, but we didn't really. Nazis have been in control from the beginning. I mean, Operation Paperclip is all you need to know about that. 1,600 or so German Nazi engineers, scientists, political party leaders. Imagine we beat Russia or ISIS, and we're just like, hey, how about you guys just come to the United States and work in the U.S. government? That's what we did in Nazi Germany. The whole plot makes no sense. Communism killed more people than them. They never talk about it. We work with them. We destroyed Germany. And then we take all their people into the United States government. That's what happened. Operation Paperclip. It's all out there. Oh, that's a crazy conspiracy. No, it's on Wikipedia. It's in major news sources. It's just their scientists. We just took no, we didn't. We took their political leaders. Would we take Soviet Union leaders and implant them in the U.S. government and not think like, oh, maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe they might spy on us or turn back on us. Oh, no, let's just take 1,600 Nazis, put them in the United States government, and then we're going to tell everybody we're fighting the Nazis. And all this stuff I'm saying, I stick to the surface sometimes. I mean, we go deeper, but this is not something that's like crazy. You could Google Operation Paperclip. It's everywhere. It's not like I have this hidden secret that no one knows. They brag about it. It's in mainstream news. Someone said Operation Foreskin. Yeah, Operation Paperclip. Here, I'll do it for you right now so people know I'm not lying. But see, it's like every time we learn some Operation Paperclip. Let's do it. Operation Paperclip was a secret program of the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, largely carried out by special agents of Army CIC, in which more than 1,600 German scientists, engineers, technicians, such as Werner von Braun and his V-2 rocket team, were taken from Germany to America for U.S. government employment, primarily between 1945 and 1959. 15 years of that. Wow, nice. Many were former members and some were former leaders of the Nazi Party. Wow, isn't that crazy? Right there on Wikipedia so everyone can read. It's also in the mainstream news. So they took our whole NASA program was funded by Nazis. They're like who were friends with Walt Disney, Werner von Braun, and then they took party leaders, dude. And then everybody, like people are so brainwashed that they're like, no, it makes total sense. Like we'd want all their smartest people to compete with other people. If we defeated Russia or Iran or China, as Trump would say, China, would we take 1,600 of their people, including former leaders, into our government? Not into our country, into our government directly. Like none of them are going to turn? And you're talking about Germany. It's like, yeah, they were defeated, but they're still a country. It's not like they're non-existent anymore. They still, Angela Merkel's like, she's like, I was a communist when I was younger. It's okay. Everybody was. We were all communists. It's fine. But I'm just going to pretend like I'm not still doing it. Someone said, if you think Trump controls these things, you're way off. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you think I think Trump controls? I didn't say Trump. I mean, Trump is the president, but what does he control? Did I say that? Trump, I'm talking about Operation Paperclip. Trump wasn't even, he's like 20 years old. Michael, I'm not going to read that comment. I'm going to get in trouble. That's a funny comment though, but I'm not reading it. I'm not. You guys are funny. Someone said, have you looked into the Talmud? I mean, I know what it is, but has anyone read the Talmud? It's like 25 books. But yeah, I know what the Talmud is. It's just so long. It's like, if you wanted to actually read it, it would take like 3 years. Yeah. I'm reading the comments. You guys are so funny. Someone said Trump will start World War III. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Thank you, Rex. Someone said Germans are not bad people because are not bad people, good people. I never said Germans were bad people. I mean, most people are not responsible for what their country does. You know, it's not like like that's what Angela Merkel's trying to do now. She's trying to make Germans just be like, oh, it's like kids that were born now have nothing to do with what Germany did during World War II. So Angela Merkel bringing it up, it's not like she's trying to she's acting like she's trying to make everything right. She's trying to just demoralize her country. That's what she's trying to do. It's like my grandparents had nothing to do with the Native Americans. They try to blame me. I came from Poland. I came from Italy. I came from Puerto Rico. And Puerto Ricans didn't even originate there. They all came from different places, and Czechoslovakia. So, like, I'm going to let these people act like it's my fault that Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue? Fuck out of my face. I have nothing to do with that. So let's say, all right. We'll answer like one more question, then I'm going to take off. Someone said, I just found out recently that 100 million people are on welfare. Is that no wonder they're voting for? Is that true? Probably. That's the thing with immigrants. Like back in the day, in like the 1900s, when my grandparents came over, they all worked. Nowadays, I think you could look at the stats of how many immigrants just hop right on welfare. Like, and then you have like the left being like, that's what the Statue of Liberty is about. And then you have the moderate right being like, oh, that's fine. We like legal immigration. Yeah, it's fine if it makes sense. Not if everyone's coming over here hopping on welfare. 90% of them are voting Democrat and people hate this country. When you came to America back in the day, you loved America. Like, you don't come here and just hop on welfare. That doesn't make sense. They just wrote an article in Haaretz. I read them a lot. It's like an Israeli thing. It was like an opinion piece about how Israel's a rich country. They don't need immigrants. And, basically like, it was like a whole, we have enough money. We don't need immigrants. It's like, they can write that and that's fine. But then if you wrote that in America, everyone calls you racist and horrible. It's like, you could write whatever you want. You could, it's like certain opinions. And this is where I think the moderate right gets it wrong. They've accepted the morality of the most evil people on the planet, where it's like people who've started wars, killed millions of people, displaced millions of people, people that have no moral compass whatsoever, have determined that this is immoral to say. And the right says, oh, I agree with them. You can't talk about this. Who let these people decide what's moral and not? They're the most immoral people on the planet. So you shouldn't even live in their realm of what they say, because they're all liars. So it's like the left wing makes what's acceptable based on total lies and subversion. And then the right wing plays identity politics to match what they're doing, to fight against them by doing exactly what they're doing and saying those are the rules. So they can start a war sneakily and kill 1 million people, and that's fine. But then if you have an edgy conversation about demographics or race, that's unacceptable. I'm not racist. I'm not a big racial person, but what's worse? Somebody who wants to, an Asian, a white, a black, Hispanic, whatever, that wants to marry their own race, or somebody that literally murdered people in Libya and Syria and caused a refugee crisis that has been costly to the entire world. Which one's worse? If you listen to most people, they're like, oh, well, that hurt my feelings. I don't care. I'm not hurt. People, I'm part Puerto Rican. Stefan Molyneux says Puerto Rican people have lower IQ, like on average. That's what he says. I'm not like, oh, I'm so dumb now. Stefan Molyneux is so smart. I'm so mad. Who cares? I don't think, I think I could beat him in a debate anyway, but it's like, if the world was perfect, then I'd be like, yes, that's really mean to say. That's really bad. It's not, maybe not ideal. But however, this world is led by warmongers, pharmacy slingers who just shove pills down people's throats, and they make the rules, and I'm supposed to play along to their rules. I'm supposed to be like, oh yeah, no, yeah, that's mean to say. No, what's mean is lying to people, starting wars, allowing people that knock down the Twin Towers to train on your base. And I'm not blaming all Saudis, but it's like, if we knock down towers in Iran, I don't think Iranians would let American soldiers, if 15 of 19 hijackers knock down a tower in Israel or Saudi Arabia or Pakistan, I highly doubt they would let American military agents train to fly planes in their country, and they shouldn't. So what are we doing? All right, one more question. I'm really out. See y'all. All right, one more question. Let's end on a good one. All right, we'll end on that one. Let's see. Anomaly, we do flight training with allied nations, military in every branch. It's public knowledge. Sad day now. I'm going to end on this note. I have no problem with any foreign country. I have no problem that the United States military works with foreign countries. I don't care if the United States works with Japan. I don't care if the United States works with Russia. I don't care if they work with China. I don't care if they work with Israel. I don't care if they worked with Saudi Arabia, with France, with Germany. I understand certain people are our allies and certain people aren't. But if you don't understand that 15 of the 19 hijackers came from Saudi Arabia. We did nothing about it. We gave them $250 billion or so in weapons, and then we're letting their military people train at our facility. I'm not saying to not let allies train at our facilities. What I'm saying is, who are our allies if this is what our allies do? And this is what people are trying to point out, and they're getting called hateful. I have probably more Saudi Arabian friends than you do, and I want them to come to America, and they will again. They have nothing to do with this. I'm just saying it's our fault. It's not their fault. Yes, we have allies that train with us, but do we have allies that their citizens blow up our towers? That's normal to you? Oh, I'm a conservative anomaly. No, it makes sense. The people that blew up the towers, they came from the country, and we sold them weapons and we let them train. It makes total sense, anomaly. Come on, man. It's a sad day. It's a sad day because people act like this. It's a sad day because people have accepted this as normal. Iran wouldn't do this. Israel wouldn't do this. Saudi Arabia wouldn't do this. Brazil wouldn't do this. Mexico wouldn't do this. No sane country on this planet would do this. Only the United States of America would allow their towers to fall. Thousands of people, including my friends' parents, dying that day. And then we do nothing about it. We say, oh, the hijackers came from your country. Okay, so what should we do about that? Should we look into it? Should we inquire why? Should we try to figure out why? Should we maybe think, maybe they're not the best allies, or they're not controlling their population? You think Saudi Arabia would let us kill thousands of people in their country, find out that 15 of the 19 hijackers came from America, and you think they wouldn't say anything about it or do anything about it? You got to be a fucking idiot. So I'm not saying to not train foreign allies. It's just, who are our foreign allies? We're going to war for Saudi Arabia and Israel. They're allowed to, when it comes to the hijackers, literally. Do you not get that? Is that hard to process? Is that controversial to say? No other sane country on the planet will let that happen. The only reason the United States lets it happen is because our country's sold out. Everything in our country is not owned by people who care about America. So you're screwed. Sorry. Your media is not owned by people who like you. Your military is not run by people who like you. Your banks are not controlled by people who care about you. Neither are the hedge funds. Neither are none of it. So I guess that's just status quo now, and it's supposed to be normal. I know that we train foreign people. If we're training Japanese flights in our country, and then 15 Japanese people knock down the Twin Towers, maybe just put a hold on that for a little bit until we figure out why so many people coming from Japan are knocking down the Twin Towers. I don't know. Maybe don't then sell them $250 billion in weapons. What message do you think it sends to Saudi Arabia and Israel? Not blaming Israel for that, but I'm saying Saudi Arabia and them in general, that they could do whatever. They take away our free speech, that's fine. Saudi Arabia, their hijackers come from their country, blow up our towers, and we sell them weapons. Do you think either of these countries are ever going to stop? They're like, oh, no, they look at us like we're pathetic, because we are. That's why when Tulsi Gabbard said Trump is Saudi Arabia's bitch, I'm not saying Trump is. I like him, but am I mad at that comment? No. She said the same thing about Netanyahu, I think, and everyone's saying, oh my God, that's so terrible. Someone needs to say something. I'm not saying Trump is, but it's the Bush and Obama era was not very impressive as an American. I'm just like, okay, I'm not saying to not train foreign people, but if that many Bolivian people blew up our towers with a flight, I wouldn't want them learning how to fly in Florida until we got an answer from their government or their people one way or another. Why did so many come from there? And when you look into it, the reason so many came from there is because we work with them and we fund that radical ideology. It's people like this that let it happen. Oh, it's normal. It's just normal that we fund that stuff. It's just normal that they kill people at our air bases. It's just normal that the towers fall down. It's just normal that we're at endless war in Afghanistan and Syria that's not meant to end because it has nothing to do with America. It has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with your freedom. Nothing to do with your security. Nothing to do with your safety. It's your taxpayer dollars funding a group of people that don't give a fuck about you, letting them do what they want to do in the Middle East. It has nothing to do with America. It never did. So if that's normal to you, don't expect it to be normal with a lot of us, because it's not normal. It's weird. It's 2019. We have the biggest military. We're being attacked on our own country. I'm not surprised. I'm not blaming the entire population of Saudi Arabia. But when you let 15 hijackers from that country blow up the towers, and then you go to the Middle East, work with them, sell them weapons, and keep bringing their nationals to train on your air bases, what the fuck do you expect? Because Dan Crenshaw or Ben Shapiro said that's normal, or whoever the fuck you're listening to. Oh, come on, Anomaly, that's normal. Come on, we always let our ally, they're the greatest ally, Saudi Arabia. Come on, we just let them fly planes around. Come on. I'm not trying to piss people off. It's just like, what the fuck don't you understand about it? It's like mind-boggling to me. Yeah, but like, dude, it's normal that they sold the First Amendment out. No, they do it because people just watch them do it. And you don't have to be mad or angry. Be peaceful, be kind, be cool. Just ask them why they're doing that. If you don't ask them why they're doing that, they don't stop. When you ask them, you don't have to be hateful. You certainly, violence is never the answer. Anger is, I'm not telling people to be mean or radical. Be as respectful and nice as possible. I'm telling you, stop acting like it's cool. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do something crazy or mean or angry. You just have to stop acting like it's cool. So when people sit here and act like it's normal, that's why they do it, because you think that's okay. No, but we just, come on, this happens all the time. Yeah, because our country's sold out. The things we do are embarrassing. Obviously, the left is embarrassing, but the right's embarrassing too. They're like more liberal than 2008 Obama. Don't talk about that. That's racist. Yeah, that's why it happens, because people think that's normal. And then you bring it up, and they're like, "Oh, you're just jealous." No, I'm not. I don't want to hang out with these people. I'm annoyed that they're selling out the First Amendment. That's what's annoying. If they didn't sell out the First Amendment, I wouldn't care. But they did, and then these groups are a PR team for them. They book these people, they PR team for them, and if you ask a question about it, they smear you as a racist, anti-Semite, homosexual hater or something. Like, you're homophobic. It's like, what are you talking about? So that's all you have to do. Once again, you don't have to be as passionate and annoyed as I am now. You can be, but you don't have to be. Just stop acting like it's cool. That's all you have to do. It's not cool. You can be a pro-Zionist, pro-Israel, pro-Saudi Arabia, pro-foreign ally. Just stop acting like this is cool. You could say, I love Saudi Arabia. I love Saudi Arabians, but why did this happen? Someone said active bomb threat in Florida. Not good. But that's all. It's like, I love Saudi Arabians. I'm just saying, if the hijackers came from America, I would expect Saudi Arabia to be hesitant, to be like, wait a second, what's going on here, America? What's going on here, George Bush? What are we doing? If we did that to Saudi Arabia and they sold us, and then we're like, they're like, not only will we not do anything about it, we're going to work with you to spread that radical ideology in the Middle East some more, and then we're going to sell you weapons. And then this happens, and people are like, oh, come on. Anomaly, this is just normal. I mean, come on. Everybody we work with foreign people all the time. I know, and we always have, but maybe we pick our allies better, or maybe we question our allies. It's not Saudi Arabia's fault. They're probably laughing at us, Their royalty probably cracks up at how cucky American politicians are. I know Netanyahu laughs hysterically. Israelis probably laugh hysterically. I'm not talking about your average worker. The elites and the people who run that country probably crack up about how sold out American politicians are. Dude, it's too easy. Nancy Pelosi, Trump, them all, they just, come on, they'll do anything for us. They probably laugh hysterically at it. I mean, you think the Saudi royalty doesn't know that America didn't do anything about what happened in 9/11? And I'm not saying it's the Saudi royalty's fault, but if Americans did what that happened to us, to another country, which they have, in a sense, a lot of the stuff we've done in other countries, it doesn't make people hate us less when we ally with people like that, and then we do that type of stuff. It makes people hate us more. So in a lot of these countries, they don't think America is the world police. They don't like America. And some of it's because of what we did. And if you don't admit that, you create what a lot of people do, which is like, oh, I wonder why. And then people get pissed off. And you're like, why are they pissed off? So it's a mess. I'm just saying, I'm going to say this and I'm going to leave. I didn't want to end on this note, but it's not normal to have conservatives sell out the First Amendment. And all you have to do is admit it's not normal. That's all you have to do. You don't have to be as passionate as I am. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to be radical. Just admit it's not normal. And then they'll stop doing it. They do it because everyone plays along and thinks it's conservative. It's not. Selling out the First Amendment is not cool. Adding to the censorship, to the hate speech, to the cancel culture, it's not cool. It's not playing the left's game. It's moving the Overton window so far left that you can't even be a normal conservative or they'll call you like a racist homophobe. It's not cool. That's all you have to say. And when it comes to this Saudi thing, I'm not trying to shut down all immigration or anything, but when they do what happened to the towers or people in their country did, and then you sell them weapons, and then you work with them in Syria and other places, and you embolden that ideology through taxpayer funding, of course it's not going to stop. You don't have to be mad. You don't have to say we shouldn't train any foreign nationals in our country. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you have to identify that and say, that's not cool. We didn't have to stop flying. We didn't have to have Saudi's nationals stop, or Saudi military agents rather, stop training in our country. But if we would have done something about it, if we would have put our hand down and been like, hey, why did these people come here? How come they had that ideology? How come they did what they did that day? How come? Then, yeah, we could start training it. But we didn't. We did the opposite of that. We not only didn't do that, we didn't identify why they came from there. We kept fueling that ideology. There's some sick people controlling our military strategy. You could speculate on who it is or what their ideology is or what their religion is or what their cult is. You know, that's all. You could speculate about that. But there's something wrong. And that's, I'm not saying it's okay, but it's like, just identify it. That's all. It's very simple. And I don't mean to be so passionate, but at the same time, when I say this stuff, I get so much blowback, more than I've got. I've said all sorts of crazy stuff, not really that crazy, but no one cares. I talk about geoengineering. I use Forbes articles and stuff. No one cares because it's all real. I tell people that no, it's the left doing it. No, it's normal to do. No, it's not normal. It's not normal. And it does. Trump is one guy. This is all I'm going to say. Trump is one guy. I think he's crushing it. I think he's doing great, but he needs help. He's not God. He's not Jesus Christ. He's a businessman from New York City who had enough balls to just slap his balls on the table and win a presidential election. And he's crushing. But he needs your help. He doesn't need people to think everything's awesome because he's there. He needs help. He's got people turning against him on the inside. He's got so many other countries and other people that have influence over him that he's trying to shake, but it's hard. So with the Saudi stuff, with all this stuff, he needs your help. He doesn't need more cheerleaders. He's got enough. That's great. Cheer him on, root for him to do well, but there's subsects of this going on. There's people who influence and sway his opinion. He needs people to really be on it and be like, listen, because these people as well, a lot of these conservatives, they're riding his coattails as they should be, but it's like they might not even like him that much. Who knows who likes him or who's going to turn against him? You know what I'm saying? They might just be using him for the clout and trying to angle him the wrong way. So just admit that selling out the First Amendment's not normal. Trump is doing what he can do, but if Trump doesn't notice that or he thinks it's cool, you have to tell Trump it's not cool. If I tell you that selling out the First Amendment's cool, it doesn't matter how much you like me. It's not cool. I don't care if Trump says it or Trump Jr. says it. I like them, but the First Amendment is not up for discussion. And if they think it is, that's where they get you. You can't follow people. Like Trump is crushing, but he might make a mistake, or he might not care, or he might not notice, or he might do it himself. It's up to you to know that that's not right. So that's all it takes. You don't have to be hateful. You don't have to join the fringes and start getting all mad and sharing what I consider are hilarious frog memes. They're funny. You don't. And I'm not trying to knock. I'm not saying everybody's mad and hateful. I'm just saying there are some people that are. You don't have to fly that way or vote for. Oh, I'm going to vote liberal. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying hold your ground on the First Amendment. If we don't have that, it doesn't matter if Obama sold it out. You think people knew Obama was doing stuff? No, they liked him so much as a person they ignored it. Same thing with Trump. He's obviously no Obama. I think he's crushing, but there's some things he might not be able to do until you help him. there's some things that he might prioritize differently because of what he's doing. But we're American citizens, okay? Our job is to protect the first two amendments, you know? And you do that by just not allowing them to do what they're doing. You got it. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America, and God bless the world. Have a beautiful day. And I just want to say this as well. All you have to do is just in your circles, in your community, in the conservative community, or if you're liberal, I don't know what to do over there anymore. I would say Tulsi's your best shot, but just say, hey, this is not cool. And then people will realize that. And then people will shift their opinions, and we'll all have a beautiful day. And hopefully we won't have to deal with, bad things happening on our military bases. That's not cool. And, Trump needs all the help he can get on the right, because Lord knows he's not getting it very much on the left. So appreciate you guys. Have a good day. I'm going to relax and chill out. And someone said, God bless you. Be careful. Life is good. We're out here. So, all right, we'll chat soon. I'm on Ethan Ralph's podcast tonight. I listened to Milo on it this week. I don't know too much about it, but if you know him or you want to listen, check that out. I'll probably retweet it on Twitter or something. So I was supposed to be on another podcast today, but apparently they cut me out of the podcast. So I guess saying I like the First Amendment's now an edgy stance on the right wing. So I guess you can't say that anymore. So I go where I can. Thank you, guys. Someone said eat some curry. Facts. I do want some curry. Thank you. God bless you, Facebook. We're out. And God bless you, YouTube. We're out. Appreciate y'all.